found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Shout out to the great Jennifer Morris, who came in here today and broke it down scientifically with me. It was unbelievable, Andy. As we're live with you, my name is Basilio. There it is. I had to shake it, sweetie. Got to shake it on the board now. When we left yesterday, that news broke about Dolly Parton, and I was There's so many levels to Dolly Parton before we get started today. So I'll share my thoughts. Watson Brown, by the way, going to join, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats here in a little bit. But we're a couple days away from being live at Calhoun's. I'm greatly looking forward to that. Cinco's here. Brian's here. I'm going to give these guys a chance to say something about the passing of Dolly Parton as well. But there's very few things in our world these days, very few things in our world. And our cameras are all disheveled right now. We had our engineer in here yesterday, as we told you, fixing things. It's so much more than music with her. I heard Don Henley one time about her, and he said, you spend a few minutes around her and you realize that there are very few people that have ever walked the face of the earth that are that gifted, that great, that in touch with everybody, and really, really, really a true, and I mean true, American hero. Everybody, every creed, every walk of life, every faith, everybody loved Dolly Parton. And I mean everybody. As in everybody. And so that to me is that's what stays with me about Dolly Parton. We live in an era where division is in, and everybody likes to divide everybody, and because you make money with it. You make money with division. Dolly Parton, it doesn't matter what party you're in. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter whether you're black or white. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Because Dolly Parton was for everybody. And I mean, yeah, Jacob Dorman's right. I happened to notice flipping around the channels last night that the national networks were doing specials for her in primetime. Everybody knew she was sick, so, they had these things planned. But it was almost as if a head of state had passed away. And you know what? In a sense, see, we know here in East Tennessee, like I was telling a couple of family members last night, we know here who she is. We saw her when those fires happened in her community 10 years ago. The way she dropped everything that she was doing and jumped into action and had that telethon for those people. And all the money that she's given down through the years and her Dolly Imagination Library. You want to talk about somebody that lived it? That's somebody that lived it. Didn't just say it. Didn't really preach it. Lived it. And I mean lived it and made it count. And she was a true treasure. That's what I think about when I think about Dolly Parton. An absolute treasure. And may her memory be an inspiration to all of us. May her memory be an inspiration to all of us till we see her again. Cinco. And Cinco, you and I love music. You and I know she's a great songwriter. You and I know that she can really play her instrument. Like she's an accomplished guitarist. I heard saw Melissa Etheridge on something talking about her, and they did this Crossroads thing like 20 years ago when CMT was a thing. And she said, Dolly had these long fingernails and when we were playing, she said, I'll never forget this. She said, I look over at her when we're in the process of playing, working up a couple of my songs, working up her songs, and she's over there working on these alternate tunings. And I say, Dolly, what are you doing? And she says, well, my fingernails are so long now for show business and being me. And I have to create chords where I can, almost like bar chords where I can just kind of slide my finger around. And I mean, this lady knew. This lady was a really accomplished, like serious musician, and kind of hid that. Pretty amazing. Cinco, your thoughts?
Well, I have several. I mean, first of all, my daughters, we didn't even sign up for them, and I've been blessed, but our daughters received books from her foundation in the mailbox, and totally unnecessary. We could buy the books, and it didn't matter. Her foundation gave them away, and new books showed up. Incredible. But, as a music person, I was thinking, I'm not a music person. As a person who likes music, I'm not that important. But as a person like music, I was thinking of some names, and these may not be names that are that everyone likes or even knows. That's fine. But Dolly is up, and again, I'm not comparing. I'm just saying for that genre, the people we've lost. I mean, I was taken aback yesterday, just like I was taken aback when Kurt Cobain died. And it is Kurt Cobain Dolly? I'm not saying that, but in that grunge movement of music, he was. For guitar players, Eddie Van Halen when he died, Hendrix when I was 3 years old, Elvis when I was 9 years old. I remember that. John Lennon when he was shot. Those type of people. Just recently, you may not like it at all, but Ozzy Osbourne for hard rock metal. Again, not comparing these people, just saying, when those people died, that part of the music world suffers. And the last thing is, I remember no matter what she did, I've heard a number of people. I didn't know Dolly. I'm not even 5 layers from her, but I remember a lot of people saying that how she played a role, and I'm not saying it was a character, but she played a role, and everyone thought she was a fun-loving kind of ditzy Dolly, but everyone I've ever heard talk about how they worked about it, what a consummate professional she was. So much so that I remember hearing later an interview with Jane Fonda. And my dad was a Vietnam vet, so I don't have warm thoughts about Jane Fonda. That's neither here nor there. But I remember Jane Fonda from a very established Hollywood acting family. And she told a story about how when Dolly showed up for 9 to 5, and she was like, whatever, and they had remained friends ever since. And how Dolly, just was a consummate professional there, even though she wasn't an established actress. She was just like them. And so I don't know about embarrassed, but I'd always wondered if Dolly Parton could be president. And I know that sounds silly, but she just seemed to be above it all and just let common sense speak for her. And we're lesser off without Dolly Parton right now, and all prayers and comfort to her family. I know they live in the area still, number of her sisters or whatever, but I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for our loss.
Yeah, amen. I'll never forget the way she jumped right into action when those unspeakable fires happened up there. And there are people probably up on those hillsides we probably won't find. I mean, truthfully. And you could see it in her face. I mean, that was her community. Those are her people. She absolutely loved this place. Man. Unreal. Unreal. And the musical impact is just crazy what's amazing is people are finding different video clips of her. There's one of her at the age of 13 playing outside a Kaz Walker grocery store in the early 60s. That's just amazing. Obviously, some of the stuff she did with Porter Wagner, and she wrote I'll Always Love You for him. And I mean, imagine that as a kid writing a song like that. I don't know. I just thought I'd start the show with that today. And now we get on with, and Watson Brown's going to join us on the other side. Adam Sparks at noon. Somebody said King GGG 695. There's a video of her doing Stairway to Heaven that's out there. But she collaborated like with all these different people across all these different genres. And everybody knows that she's the real deal. See, that's the thing about her. Like, everybody out there knows she kind of the real deal. So on the football team rather. I was thinking about this thing with Chapman, Cinco. We were talking off the air. Chapman moved back last week knowing that he was going to play baseball this year for the Vols this upcoming season. And then yesterday, Mike Wilson broke that he was going to be a coach, which, I mean, yes, no. At the very least, he's going to be be that coaching assistant, have that coaching assistant slot at the very least. But he's still trying to play. He's still going to work the legal system, and they haven't given up on that. And by the time all this gets settled, he probably is going to play, right? I mean, wouldn't you think? I would think. But we don't even know, because I said last week, that's the guy everybody was talking about. And then Ben McKee backed that up in his reporting. So Ben got the whole story. And the whole story is he moved back here to with the idea of playing. And then that injunction got slapped down last week. And, well, you know. And somebody says to me with Jalen Washington. Jalen Washington's playing. Jalen Washington won his own singular court case in Nashville. I know it's all confusing, but he doesn't fall into the dispensation of some of these other rulings. He's in his own separate box. It's so hard to track all this. But we've got the issue of, and let me just say one thing. Sean, do you like the SEC's leadership versus the Big Ten's leadership? The SEC has to call a meeting and get everybody together and go through their procedures. And Tony Petitti just puts a statement out because he's the leader of the league. And the leader of the league says, you know what? We're not taking any of these NFL guys that want to come back. That's our position on this. That's the difference between a businessman and somebody over here who is used to working not with his money, but with somebody else's money. That's the difference between somebody who is a businessman over here and on this side of things, like the way elected officials work. Let's have a meeting. Let's all get in a room, have a meeting, and not accomplish anything. And so,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to see what Tony Petitti. That's how the Big Ten has outmaneuvered the SEC during the Petitti years on a myriad of issues. He's a bureaucrat. Well, that's a great word, Steve Parker.
I don't know what they are, but you're exactly right. And the interesting thing is that Sankey still parades around like the SEC is the top dog and he's the guy in charge, and he's not. It's painfully obvious as an SEC sheep that I am that the Big Ten is taken over, is at the steering wheel, and is pretty much telling. I mean, they told the SEC, "You're going to play 9 games." We acquiesce, and we're the worst for it. There's no way that would have been done previously.
And now, yeah, that's a great point.
You know, and I don't know. It's everything. And here's the thing: is the SEC has always been led around by the nose. The office of the SEC has always been led around by the nose by whoever was the best team, or the loudest team. And for a time that was Florida. Then it was Saban and Alabama. Nobody can question who the true commissioner of the SEC was. It was Nick Saban.
Yes.
And now it looks like, for whatever reason, it's the loudest school, the LSU. I mean, they're just going to do what they're going to do, and whatchamacallit is just going to, just fall right in line. So I'm glad there is some leadership. You know what is interesting is we were talking about leaders the other day. I had a patient as a school administrator at UT, nice fella, and I was talking about what an absolute jewel we have in Donde Plowman, and he said you don't even know the half of it, and that is I want to, while I'm ripping Sankey, I want to celebrate what I perceive is a great leader that we have running UT Knoxville.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. We're playing an event on Monday. I hope she's there. Brian, isn't it incredible that we have a league leader? The difference between a businessman and a bureaucrat. Thank you, Steve Parker. That was the word I was looking for. The bureaucrat's got to call a meeting. And some of you that work in corporate America, like several of my friends do, they say, the love language inside these places is that we got to have these meetings. And what happens in these meetings? We're just wasting time. But everybody's in a meeting, and we have a meeting, and because we have our process, instead of just doing something. Whereas a guy that's nimble, this kind of Brooklyn-born guy, Petiti, he's just out there. He's like, well, they're getting ready to put a release. Let's just put it out. They're going to put it out by the end of the day. Let's beat them by like 5 hours. Let's make it look like our idea. And the way the commissioner, if you really are paying attention, the way the commissioner got just pantsed on that 9-game deal, thinking, oh, they're going to adopt my 16 game. And immediately the Petiti guy pivoted to, oh, well, we're going to go 24 teams. Just a pants job. I mean, it's just so great the way they just maneuvered so much quicker than we maneuvered. Just so funny. Our league is
one follows and the other leads, and the SEC is following just like the other leagues are. They're a follower. They're not a leader anymore.
Day late, $1 short. So, and shout out to the great Jennifer Morris who was here earlier. She's precious. She's precious. And shout out to the great Austin Collins as well. Austin, you're good people, brother. Jennifer shared with me the great news. You're good people, my brother. I don't care what Josh says. You're good people, my brother. Good peoples. We come back, I got to talk to Watson Brown about these coaches are so afraid of naming a true freshman. It's almost like there's some superstition against it, Sean, in the coaching profession. It's very strange the way these guys do not want to name a true freshman as our starting quarterback to begin the year. You think there's some like superstition against it? Because it looks like our guy is the only guy right now, unless you count the 5th-year senior at UNC, who I had as a freshman the other day in my blog, which you got to love me. But at least I own it when I'm a goofball. Sean, you think there's
I don't think there's a superstition. I think all coaches would prefer knowing what they're going to get instead of an unknown. And right now, frankly, the only known you have at quarterback is the Staub kid, and I don't know if that's a good known. I mean, he started some games for Colorado, and obviously that's not the way they're going to go. So if you have an unknown with GMAC and you have an unknown with Faison, then you just go with the one that looks like has the higher ceiling. But no, I don't think there's a thing like that. It's just like Jamal Lewis, all of a sudden Jamal Lewis, well, we're afraid to put him out there. We're afraid to put him out there because we don't know if he can block, etc. They finally put him in there and he goes for 200 yards or whatever it was.
Oh, it's crazy.
It wasn't superstition. It was just fear of the unknown.
And Mark Levine is like a world-class meat smoker. He has one of these big meat smoking deals. We did that thing back in the spring, and I know they're planning another one this year, or for 2027. And Levine was like, "Yeah, I'm the guy that started for Jamal Lewis. I'm the answer to the trivia question. I'm the answer to the trivia question." Yeah, it's a very, very interesting thing when you stop and think about how the Curtis guy is not starting at Vanderbilt. Everybody thought the Curtis guy was going to start, but he's not. They're going to go with the 5th-year guy. And I'll tell you something. The guy at Vanderbilt's a pretty damn good football coach. I know some of you don't want to listen to that. He's underrated. Yeah, I said it. He's a pretty good football coach. He packed our lunch last year. And it wasn't just offense either. They had a pretty good defense. Vanderbilt came to get in Texas last year. They came. Arch, who hasn't had a real good summer, by the way. The number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft. And he might be. Maybe playing well in college doesn't matter. Maybe it just doesn't matter, 865-200-5402. As we continue, we are breaking it down scientifically with you. It's a Wednesday with Watson Brown. On the other side, okay, now that you name a true freshman, how, in his opinion, and he's been spot on since we've had Watson on the air for 4 years now, maybe going on 5. He has been spot on with the wrinkles in Tennessee's offense. He was one of the first people to say Joe Milton did not fit what they did. It made no sense. He said it on the air in real time. Joe Milton, he's the first guy I heard said Hendon Hooker's getting ready to explode. He told me that before he started appearing on here. I was on with Plaster several years back, and he said, and he was on with George every day back then. And he was like, hey, this guy's getting ready to explode. This guy's getting ready to absolutely, and it exploded.
I got a quick stat for you, Tom.
Hit it.
Of the 2 freshman quarterbacks, Faison and Jared Curtis, Faison was born October 1st, 2008. I wasn't a math major, but it looks like he will turn 18. Is that right?
That's correct.
Jared Curtis was born December 21st, 2006. In December, he will turn 20. Make that of what you will.
Maybe Jared Curtis ends up
2 years older than a guy and they just no poop, you're a 5-star if you're 2 years older than everyone you're playing against in high school at a little school.
We come back on the other side. I got to talk to Watson about what Tennessee does now that you've named him a starter. What are the things that are going to be available to him in the offense? What are the things they're going to stay away from? Or do they just let this kid play ball? And how do you handle it? And why are these coaches so afraid of true freshmen? They obviously are. But will we start seeing more and more true freshmen play now that you got to pay these guys several $1 million out of high school? See, before, all you were doing was giving them a roster slot. And you were paying them a little bit. But it wasn't like it is now. Now it's real money. And I wonder if the Ingram guy at Vandy is urinated off and is made a few phone calls over to Vanderbilt and said, "Hey, Clark, what are we doing, man? I paid for this guy. I could have bought a striker. Okay, my Nashville team's close to winning a championship. My Nashville FC. I mean, what are we doing here? I could have bought a striker." We continue with more Watson Brown right after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Balls fans, this is linebacker Jaden Perlotti. When my family and friends need Tennessee gear, I tell them every time, Alumni Hall has it all. With 7 stores in Tennessee, you get the best selection of ball gear anywhere. Adidas, Peter Millar, Yeti, Owala, No Rivals, Tailgate Gear, and more. Shop in store, online, or download the Alumni Hall app. Whether you need to blitz or throw a touchdown, Alumni Hall will help you win. Alumni Hall, your ultimate ball shopping experience. And tell them Jaden sent you.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, blood orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm there to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face-to-face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
One homestand remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies in action. That's it. Next week, your Smokies are home against the Chattanooga Lookouts, and we're closing out the season with amazing promotions every night. Taco Tuesday and All-You-Can-Eat Wednesday, less than $20 for tons of food and game tickets.
Nice.
Our final Thirsty Thursday, final fireworks show, and we end the season with our fan appreciation game. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
My head is bowed. Bow thy head when you say thy name. I tell you, we're in an era right now in college football where we got guys suing to get out of NFL camps and get back into college football. I mean, that's why we need a guy that's got some principles, that's got some guiding light. Watson and I were the great Watson Brown. It's a Wednesdays with Watson presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats. They will ship anywhere in the world to you. Once you have it, you'll know it. Once you know it, you've had it. Once you have it, you're going to have it again. It's no reason they're growing the way that they are and moving and shaking. And the great Watson Brown, I bring you in against the backdrop, my brother, that, boy, we lost a real, you and I were talking off the air, we lost a real treasure yesterday, Watson.
Oh, Tony, one of the most all-time stars that we've ever witnessed. I mean, and the thing I loved about her, and I didn't know her, it shook her hand at a function once, but she was what she was, and the way she was at home, behind closed doors, wherever, is the way she was in front of people. And one of the best business minds, Tony, I think I've ever seen through the celebrity area, and just an unbelievable business mind, but just a genuine Southern lady. And that's neat. And we lost a treasure.
Yep. And she loved her people. And the thing about Dolly that I love, Watson, is that she never felt the need to get like real controversial.
No.
You know, she just never felt the need to step in it or to alienate anybody.
Not at all, Tony. And if anything, she tried her best to stay out of it.
Yep.
worked to stay out of it, and didn't feel like that was her role in what she did. That's what I think. I've read that.
Yeah.
But that's me just watching her through all these years and opportunities she had to do this or do that or say this or say that.
Mm-hmm.
And she just would not go there. And the discipline to just keep not going there. Another, again, to me, genuine.
Yep.
She just had her beliefs, and sometimes if you weren't going to know them.
Yep.
And she never, ever popped something out there to help herself.
Dolly,
that just was not her, and we've watched that all of our lives, people doing that. And she never, ever did that. She never, ever did that.
Yeah. And, you know, I know how much she loved her people, those mountain people. And I know how much she loved people in our state, people in this region, but really people all over the world. I mean, she's just so unique. And last night when she passed away, Watson, and they have this thing on national television, 3 different networks, and somebody said in our YouTube comments, as if like a head of state, like a president had died, or, you know, someone of that magnitude. That's the response we've gotten. That's the response we've gotten.
Unbelievable respect, Tony. I don't know that anybody that passes that's been a very famous person in whatever the field it is will have any more respect than Dolly had when she passed. I'll put presidents in there. I don't care. She just earned that respect with the way she lived her life.
No doubt about it. Watson, let's transition into, as it's a Wednesday with the great Watson Brown. Let's transition into the football matters. Tennessee names a true freshman quarterback. It's very rare. 4 guys last year started the season as true freshman quarterbacks. All of them played very well statistically. All of them didn't have great touchdown to interception ratios and struggled in that respect. And so, you know, at the end of it all, you're going to live with what you're going to live with when you throw a true freshman out there. Let's focus on Josh Heupel's offense with the knowledge that this kid, Faison Brandon, is extremely physically ready. He's obviously not going to be ready like he will be in a few seasons, but he's physically ready to play the game. When you just look at him, he's a thick kid. He can move. If he were a baseball player, you'd call him a 5-tool player. He can do everything you need him to do on a football field. What we don't know yet is, like we don't know about a lot of people, is, you know, how you going to function in the moment. Do you make winning plays and those sorts of things? But that's a coach's job to get these guys in a position. So I ask you just a global question here, Watson. And the global question is, how does Tennessee get this guy prepared to play? And how much of what Josh Heupel wants to do offensively do we see in the first month this season now that you've named this guy a starting quarterback? How do you answer that?
First, I'd say it's different. He's not really a true freshman. When you had spring ball, I've started true freshmen. Matter of fact, more than once, and they've had solid years. So I've done this, but I never had one that went through spring ball. I don't think I would have called him a true freshman. In my time, in the old days, freshmen, they walk in the door. They might be there and get to run and get a little condition in the summer, but you can't coach them or do anything with them on the field. In 10 years ago, and they walked out on a practice field, they learned it for the first time. So it's so different now. He had spring ball. He's had work all summer, where they're working with him. They're in meeting rooms. They're out on the practice field doing things. It's a different world. Josh does such a good job of being disciplined to the point he's not going to put his quarterback in situations he can't handle. He doesn't do it. And so what I think you're going to see is very conservative with him early in the year, a lot of constant throw cut passes, a lot of the old bubbles and the smokes and the things that you do, the little quick throws here and there, little quick slants. I think you're going to see a lot of that, and you're going to see a lot of just take it and throw it deep. But you're not going to see a ton of high-low, all the more complicated things it takes for a quarterback to learn. And I'm going to bet you they use his feet. You're going to see the quarterback touch the ball more. Now, in these early games, maybe not, because they don't want him to get injured, maybe a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, as they get into, by the time when's Georgia Tech? Is it second? I don't remember.
Second game, that's right.
It's
yes,
early.
Watson. Second game.
I think you'll see more of what they're going to try to do with him in that game, because they're plenty good enough to beat him. And Josh knows that. But Josh is one of the best I've seen at taking care of a quarterback and not putting him in things he's just not ready to do. So I don't think you're going to see the high interception and low touchdown throws with him.
What I speak of, right, is that I just did some research here. The kid at Cal, nice player. If he would have made himself available last year, probably would have gotten $5 million from somebody. But the kid at Cal, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Blake Bachmeyer, or Bear Bachmeyer, who's a nice quarterback at BYU, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Malik Washington, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, the kid from Maryland, who is a very good freshman, true freshman, who started the season. These are guys that played the full season last year. And then Bryce Underwood at Michigan, Watson, went 11 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to join Matt Dixon in predicting that this kid here will have a better than 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which means he'll pace ahead of most of the guys last year that started the first game as true freshmen, because this head coach, nobody turns a ball over. Listen, even Joey Aguilar, who the interceptions down through the years got him 24 passing touchdowns last year to 10 interceptions. That's better than 2-to-1. I mean, he still paced at a better than 2-to-1 clip. And I went back and looked up Nico, I'm never going to leave you. And even he had 19 touchdowns passing and only 5 interceptions. So almost a 4-to-1 clip, which speaks to what you're talking about. How does Heupel protect these guys when you're watching? How does he do it?
Well, he just does not throw throws that they're not ready to throw. I mean, it's very simple. And these touchdown passes are going to come this way. They're going to come as deep throws, just laying balls up and good receivers making plays for them. Or they're going to run some little quick pick passes on the goal line or throw fade routes. These are not pickoff kind of balls. And so you're going to see him have quite a few touchdown runs, in my opinion. They're going to give him the ball on the goal line more than they have here recently. That's what I think. I'm totally guessing. I have not seen a practice or anything, but knowing the abilities that he has and the things he's going to do, I think you're going to see more touchdown runs thrown in with the touchdown passes. But I do not feel uncomfortable with this whatsoever, because he had spring ball. He's had a summer that quarterbacks I taught as freshmen didn't even come close to getting. And he's had preseason practice. So he's not really just a pure true freshman. That's not really the case. And I think he's going to be fine. They'll be a little conservative in game 1.
Yep.
Be conservative in game 2, but let him go more with his feet. I think they'll still throw quick throws and deep throws in game 2 against Georgia Tech, but you may see him get more carries.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean,
it's fun.
It is. It's you wouldn't think they'd get in this spot, but this kid is one of the best in the country in the recruiting world. So I mean, you're not bringing in somebody that you're saying, oh, geez, we got to do this. They They really like their two quarterbacks, so they would not be in the position they're in right now. In my personal opinion, they would have gone after somebody.
Which leads to this, right? You saw 4 true freshmen start the season last year. Right now, unless somebody, because guys are being named starters each day, so we'll see how it shakes out. For instance, Taven Jackson just got named. The kid that started here, went to Indiana, went to Liberties. This guy's going to be a jersey collector, as they say in the trade. He's going to be the starting quarterback at North Texas. It was just announced. Houston had a 5-star kid. Connor Wegman's going to start there. So he couldn't beat him out in camp. And granted, he was an incumbent, but he was still a really high level recruit.
That was the A&M kid, right?
Yes, that's right.
I think he was from A&M.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good stick by you. And here's the thing: you need like a chart when you're watching these games now for all these guys that have switched teams, and it's just totally dizzying. But I get back to this. Why do you think, and I'm looking at the Curtis situation in Nashville, the Ingram guy paid big money for him, and they bought him away from Georgia in the 11th hour, and he's 20 years old, by the way. But he doesn't get the starting job right out of camp, but everybody kind of feels like he'll eventually win the job as the year goes on, because that's generally how it's done with true freshmen. Why don't more true freshmen get the nod out of camp? Why is this so rare, Watson, and particularly in a league like the SEC?
Well, because if there's a good older kid there, you're going to play him. That's just the way it is. Now, if you've got really good true freshmen and you don't have that older kid, then that's what you're going to play. It's very simple. And Tennessee got caught where they just didn't have the older kid sitting there, and in January made the decision that we're plenty good enough with these guys, and they knew they were getting the freshmen in January, and they knew they had McIntyre who they liked. So I mean, I get it. I would have probably done the same thing. Tell you the truth. So I'm going to fall in their corner on this. It's going to play itself out, because if they don't play well at quarterback this year, Josh is going to catch a lot of grief over that. But the other thing to me this year, Tony, I just didn't see the real top dog quarterbacks coming out the way I did maybe the year before. And I didn't get just killer excited about any of them, to be very honest. I mean, that's solid players. But when you've got two that are as well thought of on your campus that you really like, I mean, why would you go out and throw an older kid in the middle of that? Why would you do it and spend that money? And the Curtis thing, I don't look at that as a negative at all. The kid they're starting has been in that system for what, 4 years?
5. Yes, his 5th year. You're right.
Years,
yeah, you're right. 4
I
years,
mean,
and then
he knows.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he's been behind Pavia 3.
Yep.
So I mean, why would you not go that route early? And I think he's going to play more than you think. I think Curtis will play more than you think. Their schedule is very, very doable early in the year. I mean, the 3 of their 4, they're going to win. And then do they beat NC State? I think it is. So it to me that one is that did not surprise me the way that Clark went with that. That didn't surprise me at all. It takes a little pressure off the freshmen, to be very honest.
Sure, it does. No, that's the other thing. Like, and I'm trying to temper expectations with this kid, because they say first impressions are lasting, but if he goes out against Furman and doesn't look good, it doesn't mean he can't play. It's going to be going a million miles an hour for him. The kid at Michigan last year, by the end of the season, was a much better player than he was when he first started the year. And his numbers, when you look at him last year, weren't great. His team ended up winning 9 games, though, which is pretty impressive for playing a true freshman wire to wire, especially being coached by a guy who was as busy with his time as that guy was.
Well, and not on a great offense, and not in an offense that's just really quarterback friendly.
Yep.
That offense is not near as quarterback friendly as Tennessee's offense is. That's the way I look at it. And they put more pressure on him in tougher situations to have to make plays. When they're running, they're a major run-first football team, and when they were not able to do that, which they weren't all the time, now he's not ready to make those third and long throws over and over and over. He's not. I don't know if anybody is. I don't know if the great seniors are just need to be putting a whole bunch of third and longs. They're not going to have great stats. But Josh just does such a good job of run pass on early downs. His whole philosophy, in my opinion, after watching him, it's very similar to the way I used to be, is we got to make hay in these early downs, and we getting late downs, we're going to be careful. We're going to be very careful. And that's what I think he's so good at, though, is staying within the chains and just 3 and 4 and 5-ing you to death, and then all of a sudden you hit a post for a touchdown. Some of the easiest throws quarterbacks make, Tony, are one-on-one post corners, or takeoffs. You're not having to read a high-low. You're not having to blah, blah, blah. You're throwing to one guy. You fake the ball, and you take one step back, 1, 2, 3, and let it fly. That's not very complicated. There's a lot more complicated stuff to teach quarterback than that. So, and then when you're throwing those bubbles and you know that the box is semi-full and you just catch the ball and you flip it out there to a guy. It's like flag football. So Josh has a lot of simple stuff built in his system that I call quarterback friendly. I don't know if there's a more quarterback friendly offense in football than I've watched since now I see Tennessee more than I see a lot of other people, but I haven't seen a more quarterback friendly offense. What they did with Pavia at Vanderbilt last year was not quarterback friendly. I mean, he'd have to dodge somebody, scramble around.
Yep.
I mean, they put a lot more heat on Pavia to make plays for them in tough situations than Josh puts on his QBs.
Sean or Brian Hartman, any questions for the great Watson Brown, who's appearing on our High Noon Hotline, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats?
Yeah, Coach, I'm not here to run Nico down, but it was obvious that Nico wasn't at his best at that point of his career when he had to think, had to make decisions on the fly, etc. And in fairness to him, I'm not sure he had the same returning playmakers that Faison has. You got a 1,000-yard rusher. You got 2 receivers that are 700-800 yards. So I was wondering if you think that perhaps that the way to do it is just to just call things instead of him thinking, just let him execute something. Get the ball in the hands of the guys that can turn a 5-yard pass into an 85-yard reception.
I think that's a great question. And what I used to do is when I didn't think he was ready to make all of those decisions on the field, I would do it from the boundary some, and they may be doing some more than you think. I mean, the quarterback would get up there, and that wasn't after the ball snap, to say the least, but the quarterback gets up there and he slightly turns his head toward the boundary, and they give you a quick point here or a little quick something, saying throw the bubble, run the play, something like that. So, I mean, I did a lot of that till the quarterback was ready to do it on his own. And I would promise you they do more than you think. If you'll watch their heads sometimes, they don't just turn their whole body like a lot of these teams do. I watch a Tennessee quarterback, and his eyes will just there's a guy over there on that boundary that's in a perfect position to where he don't have to turn sideways other than when you're getting close to the goal line. And he can kind of tell you what to do with the ball. Throw the slant, hand the ball off. Because a lot of Tennessee stuff is you got a running play call, you got a quick one-on-one route over here, and you got a bubble back to this other side. And some of that stuff you have to read on the run when the ball snaps. Some of that stuff is totally by alignment and what you see. And so there's ways to even help that, in my opinion. That is a fantastic question. But again, I go back to Josh and his style, and I've studied it so much because it's very similar to a lot of things I've always believed in. And Josh is a big believer, in my opinion, that don't give us a bad play. One of the best at saying, don't give us a bad play. Don't run a ball into an extra guy in the box. Don't throw it out here when there's somebody head up on everybody out there and it's not going to be a play. And then that's why it kind of fits his whole philosophy to me is when it's third down and people say, boy, he's awful conservative until he got to Hendon Hooker later or something like that when he believes a little more. But Josh is very conservative on third down, and I know why. I know exactly why. He don't want to lose the game before he wins the game. And for sure, if his quarterback's not ready to handle some of that stuff, and the stuff you see on third and long is not anything like you see on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 4 or 3rd and 3. It's not anywhere close. It's much more complicated. And those pass rushers know it's going to be pass. And if you want to run it, we'll tackle you. So we ain't going to worry about the run. It's going to be pass. So here they come. And so that's why I think Josh is sometimes people get on him for it.
Yes.
I think it's been very smart, especially when you're not ready for your quarterback to do it.
How important do you think tight end becomes with a true freshman out there? And there's a couple of guys in Ethan Davis and Brame who I believe are pretty good, pretty sure-handed guys that should rack up some pretty solid numbers, it feels like.
No, I think they're good outside. I think they're going to be good on offense, and they'll get. I think if I'm betting, I would say from about game 4 or 5, they're going to be a lot better than they are in 1 through 4, and they've got to figure out a way to make sure they can go to Atlanta and win that game.
Yep, that's a huge game,
and hopefully can win it without completely putting so much on their quarterback to win it. And that's the game I think they're pointing to right now. How are we going to go to Atlanta and get this done? And so it's just going to be fun. They've got 2 guys that are good. Everything I heard, George McIntyre was very good in the fall.
Yes,
was much better.
Yes.
So they're. I don't think they're looking at it as a negative. They're looking at it as how do we take this and make it the most positive thing it can possibly be. And but the thing I think they love that maybe you all are, but I don't hear it talk, is his legs. I think it's going to add a dimension as they get into these tough games to the offense. And I don't think they'll be afraid to run him because they've got a good solid backup. So I think he'll carry the ball more than any quarterback has carried it in the Heupel era. I think he'll get more carries. He's going to get carries off of scrambles because he's one of these guys that likes to scramble to run, and you got to work hard at teaching them to scramble to pass. That's hard on those kind of guys. I was one of those. When I took off with the ball, the first thought was, what am I more confident in, my arm or my legs? It was my legs. And I promise you this kid's going to be the same way. So they're going to work really hard with him to try to get him to scramble to throw. And because they want him running when they call the run. They don't want him running all the time when he takes off scrambling. They don't want him to get that many carries because he's going to scramble.
You don't want to get hit. You don't want
around.
Yeah, you don't want your quarterback
because
to get hit.
He believes in his legs.
Yeah.
He believes in his legs.
Yeah.
I believed in my legs, and it was hard for them to teach me. It was about middle ways of my sophomore year, which in those days you were a freshman because you couldn't play as freshman when I was playing. And it was about middle of my sophomore year before I finally clicked and understood what they were telling me.
Watson, you're the man. Our friends at Simpson's Meats ship it anywhere in the world, premium meat. It doesn't matter whether it's the chicken, the roast, whatever they have. They raise it, bring it from farm on purpose for you. You will taste the difference. Oh, you're going to pay more, but you're going to absolutely treat yourself, perhaps with week 0 here, maybe the first week of the season, whatever it is. It's great barbecue grilling season right now and will be. Hey, fall's a wonderful time to light it up, isn't it, Watson?
Oh, geez. We had a piece of the meat just 2 nights ago, Tony, and I'm telling you, I have yet to say that's just average. It's the best that I've had. It's better than going to these wonderful steak places if you know how to cook it right. And I say it all the time, and I'll let you go.
Yep.
You're not going to eat one steak from there or one piece of chicken. You're going to go back. I promise you're going to go back. If you just try it once, take that challenge with me and see if you don't go back again.
SimpsonsMeats.com, and they're also off Level Road with their shop there. Hey, Watson, on the way out, what do you do with your steak? You cook it, or does the missus cook it? Who cooks it in the?
I cook it.
Huh?
I'm the cook.
Let's go now.
I am the cook.
How do you cook it? How do we cook a steak? How do we cook?
She'll dress it up good. She's got things she puts on it and really, really, really helps. And I'm not even sure exactly what it is, but when it gets to me, I am the cook, and she's a rare, at the worst, medium rare.
So she wants medium rare.
I have to be careful. I can overdo it for her. She's taught me to eat meat the way she says you're supposed to eat meat.
So you're eating it. You're eating it with a little juicy too these days.
It is so big. The pieces they send us, Tony. I cook one steak and we can split it. And so I know the thicker area I may be hers, and then toward the ends will be more of what I eat, because I like it more medium, and she's more of a medium rare to rare, but medium rare, I'd say. And so I have to make that one piece of meat exactly what we both want. So I'm pretty good. I'm not bad.
Watson, thank you, my man. I love you.
Love you guys. Always an honor.
Thank you, brother. Appearing on the High Noon Hotline, it's noon somewhere. And it's high noon somewhere. And our friends at High Noon, I thank them. We no doubt are going to do a high noon overtime with the passing of Dolly Parton and give people an opportunity to talk about that and really get into that. On the other side, Adam Sparks is going to join. Let me keep it live, legal, large, and in charge.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Pretty outstanding. You know, my friends at High Noon, 14 flavors, real vodka, real fruit juice, only 100 calories, no sugar added, gluten-free. You got to check out the black cherry or check out the pineapple. You'll come back again and again. You know, look, I think I want to just say one thing, and then Adam Sparks is going to join us. There was a gentleman who sent a story about Dolly Parton, which is that when Porter Wagner, I hadn't heard this, but it doesn't surprise me. Nothing surprised me with Dolly Parton. But when Porter Wagner was passing away, one of his great regrets, he said, was that his music catalog, he sold it. Because he was broke. Because the way the music business worked in those days, was the record companies pillaged these people that wrote all the tunes and the artists and made them sign documents, and we know how it goes. Just look into it. I saw an interview with the Black Crowes the other day. They were saying that they sold like 250 million records, and out of the 250 million records, their entire organization netted like $20 million out of that. Now think about that for a second. And then you have to pay out of that. You got to pay your attorneys. You got to pay people in your band. You got to pay you. You got to pay this guy, and there's very little left at the end of that. So Dolly Parton learns of this, what happens with Porter Wagner, and goes out and buys his catalog back from one of these big companies and takes it and sells it back to the family for $1. And that's who she is. That's who she'll always be. That's who we know that lady to be. That's why she's the real deal Holyfield. On the other side, Adam Sparks, we get into, is this a once for all? Quarterback change? Naming of a quarterback for Tennessee, is it a once for all thing? And who does he think's going to shine now that Brandon has been named the starting quarterback? I almost said signed. All the stuff that's going on with these NFL guys coming back to college football, and does he think they're going to be able to stop that? with edicts at the university level? Or is LSU going to force the hand and bite the hand that feeds them? Paul Young, more after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition and top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at PipeWrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
T to the B back with you, 865-200-5402. Shout out Connexio Kristen and our beautiful family in Wichita, Ken, and those folks, and all these wonderful advertisers that make it possible for us to do what we do. It is, it's expensive. Yesterday we had our engineer in here, and it just kind of gets more expensive. As anybody knows that does business in this man's army, it can get expensive on you. Tennessee names a starter. They don't dally with it. They don't play around with it. They did it sooner than I thought they were going to do it. Adam Sparks now joins. And Adam, you were there at the press conference the other day, and you asked some great questions of Heupel, as you always do. And you appear on our High Noon hotline, and I appreciate you doing that. Did it surprise you how early they jumped here with this decision?
It depends on when you would ask me. If you'd asked me, early to middle of camp, no. I thought it would happen either Sunday night or Monday morning. It happened Monday morning. They just didn't have a team meeting on Sunday. They were off, which is why it didn't happen Sunday night. If you had asked me back in the summer, I would have said it maybe would extend into the season. This was a very tight competition in the spring. It was a coin flip in the spring. The trajectory was more on Faison's side, but not necessarily just in real time. It was really close in the summer. Faison impressed the coaches a lot by the fact that he just stayed there. He didn't leave campus, didn't leave the facility, basically made it his 9-to-5 job through the summer. And that's not to say that, George McIntyre didn't work hard too. But he was gone, just a regular vacation, a couple days here and there. Faison, I think, sort of symbolically made sure that he stayed there, and they knew it. I wrote in a piece yesterday that for whoever you think the quarterback should be, the way that Faison presented his reasoning for staying at UT and in Knoxville the entire spring and off season was the type of thing that I think fans in the NIL era like to hear. He got here in January. He has not gone home yet. His parents would come up and visit him from Greensboro, North Carolina, but he never went home. And the way that he explained that yesterday was he basically said, well, this is my job. And I told my parents, I'd love to come home, but I can't because I have work to do. So you'd have to come see me. And he explained it in a very practical way. He said, my resources are here. I have better resources, training table, weight room, indoor facility, outdoor practice field. It sounds very much like a workaholic husband that says, honey, I'd love to go out tonight, but I got a lot of work to do. And I just think there's something about that fans in the NIL era like to hear, that a guy, he essentially said, y'all are paying me a lot of money. I'm not going home. I'm going to work. And that impressed coaches. It was still pretty close going into camp. And then once they got closer to the scrimmage and through the first scrimmage, you could kind of tell the body language and some of the things said behind the scenes that he probably pretty close to clinched it after that in that first scrimmage. And in the second scrimmage, I think things were tilted a little bit Faison's way. Obviously, it was close, but a lot of what I hear is that Faison threw 5 or 6 different deep balls. I think George threw 1. The play calls are different, and reads are different. Sometimes you have more opportunities to throw them. But I do feel like they thought, okay, Faison's the guy. We need to see it again, so we're maybe going to give him a little more opportunities to do what he thinks he can do, just to confirm he's the guy. So I think the second scrimmage, he was given a little bit more opportunities, not necessarily different reps, but different types of reps to show what he could do. He also had a couple long runs in that game, in that scrimmage. And so it's probably close to clinched in the first scrimmage, and it was just confirmed in the second one.
I think it's remarkable that a kid that age, 17 years of age, turning 18 in October, would be mature enough to say, you know what? I've got a real opportunity to win a job here in the Southeastern Conference, and I'm not going to go home. I just can't imagine when home's not far away. I cannot imagine being that mature when I was his age. There's no way I would have done that. And look, I don't knock. I know McIntyre went away and had a vacation, and I mean, I don't knock anybody for taking a break. It's probably one of my weaknesses. I need to get away more, and I don't. I know you're a getaway guy. I'm kind of jealous of people like you that have the fortitude to shut the phone off and just go. But in this case, this kid knows I've got an opportunity in my hands. I'm going to show these people here that I'm different, that I'm not going to comport myself like a true freshman. Look, John Adams, and you know John, he does not compliment easily. Like when he compliments something, he means it. Okay. And he said he's around the guy at the media opportunity. He said this guy does not carry himself like he is his age. He just does not. Can you speak to that? Like how this all weaves into that tapestry of how this kid appears precocious?
Yeah, I would agree with John. He's very comfortable in the interviews, for whatever that means. It's more of it's not necessarily you can ace that test, but you can certainly fail it. If you come off the wrong way or don't know how to handle yourself, if you just come off as a high school kid, he's not that at all. Of course, he mentioned, in a couple interviews now that he started doing interviews with reporters when he was 14. He's been a 5-star for like the last 3 years. So you do run into a lot of these players now that are more accustomed to that. I remember, even as late as like 10, 15 years ago, if you put a camera or phone up in front of a player, they would get really uncomfortable. Now, they live on them.
Yep.
And so it doesn't bother those guys at all. And with a 5-star, that's certainly the case. They sort of always think there's a camera pointed at them. They're always in the media. You already see, if you look on his Instagram now, there's already a number of corporate sponsors that have, I'm getting emails today of corporate sponsors that are rolling some of Faison's stuff already out, some of his apparel and all that. So, and that ramped up as soon as he was named the starter. So he's kind of already living in this world. I do wonder if it seemed, I think he knows how to play the game. Now, I don't know him personally, but I just wonder that because if you think about the fact that he didn't go home, and you mentioned it, Greensboro, North Carolina,
not far.
He could drive home for 48 hours, and that would really not make any difference in this quarterback competition. If he just went home for a weekend to North Carolina and came back, but it almost seems symbolic, to let the coaches know I'm not going home even once.
Yep.
And so even if my competition is out of town for 10 days over 6 months, I'm home 0 days over 6 months. And you would hear from receivers that would also, go on vacation or go home for 4th of July. That's fine. He would stay and make sure there was at least a couple of receivers for him to work with. If Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley are out of town for a weekend, he makes sure TK Keys and Travis Smith or Radarius Jackson are still here. Because no matter who's in town, Faison's in town, and he just needs guys to work with around the clock. And so you've heard stories like that, and you've heard stories of, coaches coming in early, he's there, leaving late, he's there. That didn't necessarily win the job, but there is something symbolic of that where I just wonder maybe some of the guidance he's gotten is telling him you need to play the game and outwork the competition and make sure you're doing all the symbolic things to say this matters to me. Peyton Manning used to do that. There's all the stories of Peyton Manning, getting in there and not letting his competition, not letting Brandon Stewart know that the facility was open, that Peyton was in there. There's all the stories of Peyton going in the back door with the key that he borrowed from the manager and the custodian, getting in there and not telling Brandon Stewart that he could get into the facility at that time. And I just, there's a little bit of a sense of that with Faison, that he does very much put on this, this idea that, I'm just getting along with people, working hard, doing what I need to do. When you think about it, and it seems like under the surface, he really knew what he was doing. And there's a fierce competitor in there that maybe doesn't show up publicly.
Yeah. And that's an interesting side of this, right? Because if you're not super competitive and you're not super all in, there's no way at that age that you do what he did this summer. No way. That kid, and let me tell you something about, and I'm not proclaiming that this guy can play. I don't know whether this guy can play. You don't know. Nobody knows. But some of the great athletes, okay, what separates them is their work ethic and that little thing that burns in the back of their head going, you know what? It's never enough. it's never enough. I can't walk away from this. It's never enough.
Yeah, and you have to look at the opportunities different too. And I would just wonder if this would go differently if you didn't have the transfer portal or whatever. But when George came in, remember Nico was here. Nico was already here, so he looked at that and says, "Okay, well Nico's the starter here for at least 2 more years, and I'll sit and learn." This is when George got here. Well, then Nico leaves, and they go in the portal and they get Joey. Pretty obvious to everybody. Okay, they got this guy. He's probably going to start.
Yep.
So then George goes through that whole year, and I know he got criticized. He didn't gain weight or didn't hold weight or whatever. Faison gets here in January. They don't get a portal guy in January, so he already knows unless Joey gets through the court systems here, his job is wide open. They can't go get anybody in the spring. And then, of course, Joey loses in court in, February. And Faison said it the other day. He said once Joey Aguilar we knew he was not eligible, it was game on. So he knew in late February, I got to beat George McIntyre and Ryan Staub, and this job is mine. And you could kind of sense, and he kind of talked about this yesterday, as a switch flipped in his brain that, I don't have to beat out a guy that's played a lot of college football. I got to beat out these guys. And what is it going to take to do that?
Hypel Sig says, and I want you to address a couple things here, because I know you hear from anytime you have a quarterback battle, people pick. I've never understood this. We don't know anything about either one of these guys in terms of whether either one can play, but yet we have a camp over here that's for this guy. We have a camp over here. It's annoying, but I guess we're all sports fans. And look, it's a free country and it's funny. Hypel Sig says the following. If y'all believe there was ever a quarterback battle, you're delusional. That battle was won the day Faison Brandon got his check. LOL. How do you respond to that? Was it a real quarterback battle?
No, I know. If you could, if we put odds on it back then we could say, yeah, Faison has a better chance because he is a 5-star. He is an elite recruit, wider skill set and all that. So if you're putting odds on it, yes, but no, it absolutely was not decided then. I have heard this from a handful of people, and some of them are from the pro-George camp, which is the George was not given a fair shake camp. I could understand that if Faison was making $2 million a year and George just walked off the street and if he was Rick Clausen, if he was a guy that, he hadn't shown it. He's just a, try hard type guy, and they're just going to give it to the kid they paid all the money to. I could see that complaint. But George is making a lot of money too. Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't making as much as Faison, but they have a lot of money invested in both of these guys. Mm-hmm. And so no, I don't buy that. If George was better, George would have gotten the job. And if Faison struggles a lot, George could still get in the mix. But yeah, I have heard that in my inbox a number of times. That makes sense if one guy is the first round pick guy who's got a lot of money, and the other guy is just a career backup quarterback that's making pennies. But that's not what we have in this situation.
Hypel Sig over on our Tony Basilio YouTube channel says all this weight talk too that y'all buy into is just the media's push for Faison. Do you find the media has pushed for Faison in this?
No. I think the media's feel for this is, it's reflective of what we see and hear. If you see that we're reporting that Faison has pulled ahead, it's because we've been told that Faison has pulled ahead. We're reporting what we hear and what we see. But there's not George McIntyre has been great to deal with. I still think he's a talented player. Mm-hmm. He may still get his chance. George actually had a pretty good camp. He didn't have a great camp, but he had a better August than he did in April. That's for sure. And I think that was part of the reason why why Faison still had to be pushed, still had to perform, because George gave him a little bit of run, I would say, late summer and early August. George stepped his game up, and they feel pretty good about him. It's just Faison has been better. Now, I will say, anybody that thinks that Faison is going to come out and set the world on fire, maybe that happens. I'm not expecting that to happen. Both of these guys, we would see some in practice, but we would also hear it and hear about the scrimmage. Neither one of these guys were like lights out. I mean, Faison is still throwing some interceptions. They still have a lot of communication issues. I think George is probably better a little bit right now at setting up the protections, the pass protections. Faison's still working on that. They've got some issues still. And if there was a veteran experienced transfer, a high dollar transfer that they got, I think if these two guys had exactly the same performance they had to this point, I think the transfer would start over both of these guys, at least initially, because if you had an experienced guy that came in here and did well, they would have been better than either two of these guys. If Joey Aguilar from last year was in this mix here, I think he would have beat out both of these guys.
The great Adam Sparks joining. He is on your High Noon hotline. Say it loud, say it proud. All right, Adam. So now we have a quarterback that's won the job. You tell me, okay, which wide receiver benefits the most from this? It's kind of an interesting off the broken path question, but is there an answer to that, or we don't know?
Yeah, probably Mike Matthews.
Okay.
They have a great relationship. Now, not everything off the field, if they're buddies, that doesn't always translate to the field. But Mike Matthews hosted Faison Brandon on his recruiting visit, built a pretty good relationship with him. Faison went to, I think it was 6 games, his last 2 years, 6 Tennessee home games, 3 in 2023, 3 in 2024. Connected with Mike quite a bit in those trips here. They've stayed in contact. They've been buddies since he's also hung out a lot since he got to campus and enrolled. And if you look in the scrimmages, Mike Matthews, I think, was the only one that caught deep balls in both scrimmages. And we would see them throw deep balls some in the open portions of practice. And Mike was always a good target for Faison. So I would say in terms of the big play stuff, Mike Matthews would be a pretty easy pick of a guy to benefit from Faison. Now, an extension of that is Braylon Staley,
Interesting,
who's best friends with Mike Matthews. And I talked with Staley back before camp started, and he talked about that he hangs out with Faison all the time. So there's sort of a circle there. And just by position, Braylon Staley in the slot is a guy that would, and as good of a route runner as he is, would probably benefit from the fact that Faison is a guy that they hope can extend plays with his legs, extend pass plays. And so, either of those two guys, but Matthews would be the obvious one.
Watson Brown said his concern is that this guy is going to probably, speaking of the true freshman, is probably going to keep it too much early on. He said that's the inclination, that's the human inclination for most of these guys that are as physically gifted as this young guy is, in terms of he's always been able to run around people. And, he's kind of new to this and probably doesn't understand the speed just yet, although he's gotten a glimpse of it in practice, but he's about to get hit for real. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to get a handle on how much he relies on his legs, how much he should rely on his legs. I mentioned before that even Josh Heupel said a couple of days ago that they still need to work on a lot of communication and protection. And he's talking about both quarterbacks there, but obviously he's talking more so about Faison because he's going to be the starter. You saw some, but we also heard a lot the fact that, both of them had some hesitation. One knock against George was that he held the ball too long. He was not deliberate, which is kind of crazy because I thought that was one of his strengths his freshman year. That George held the ball a little too much. Faison held the ball a little bit much too, but you wouldn't see it as much because he could pull it down and run, and George didn't have that as much. So Faison's going to see, I think, an escape hatch there a lot early in the season, that if it's not there, that he can tuck it and go. And how much do you want him to do that? How much are you comfortable with him doing that? Does it depend on the game? I wouldn't want him running the ball a lot against Furman and Kennesaw State. Certainly wouldn't mind it against Georgia Tech, Texas, and Auburn. Joey Halsley, I remember, said back in the spring, the hardest thing these days for quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, is being able to adjust on the fly inside of the game. You can prepare them for anything in the game plan, but once you go through one or two series against the defense, you're going to go back out there and see something completely different. And they need for guys to see something different and be able to do some improv within that. And so Faison's going to see some crazy looks early in the season, and he's going to have to either adjust to those or just tuck it and go. And I'm not even sure which of those is the best option.
The great Adam Sparks appears on the High Noon Hotline. Just as an answer to the quiz now, Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley probably going to really benefit from Faison Brandon and the freewheeling nature of Brandon, the ability to make something out of nothing, which I love from a college quarterback. You do it at the NFL level, you can get hurt, but you do it in college, you can be very successful. And he says that Staley is the guy that could really benefit from that. By the way, he'll be at Calhoun's on Friday, 5:30 to 6:30, and then stay for the music after that. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful night. So shout out to my friends at Calhoun's on the river. And we're going to be down there on Friday as well, doing the show, a week 0 run through for us, a dress rehearsal. We'll be in shells, not in full pads, but we'll be in shells for that. Adam Sparks, before I ask the panel if they have any questions as we get ready for kickoff here, the tight ends. Last year, we had some uneven tight end play. We had a guy's great story, but he had trouble catching the ball. He was tipping it to defenders, so to speak. Looked like they were doing a tip drill at times. Tight end play better this year, and do they help the young quarterback?
If they're healthy, and particularly Ethan Davis, if he's healthy for the full year, you could have as good as or better because your two top guys, Ethan Davis and Deshaun Brame, are both the athletic, catch the ball downfield type tight ends. The problem is Ethan Davis has been, injured for some portion of every season he's been at UT. He's been injured this camp. So that's another thing where he hasn't gotten that many reps in camp with Faison Brandon. Deshaun Brame has, and he's had a really good camp. So if Ethan Davis is healthy and those two tight ends are healthy, they could be really good targets in the pass game. The thing is, can you rely on either one of those guys to be an inline blocker? Brame is getting there, but probably not all the way there yet. Ethan Davis should be there, but you don't want your physical inline blocker to be the guy that's typically injured. Trent Thomas, the South Alabama transfer, would be the physical type inline blocker that you would hope to have. I asked him a couple weeks ago if it appealed to him the fact that Miles Kitzelman got here as just a blocking guy who never really caught balls, and he ended up being a reliable, at least productive receiver. Mm-hmm. And Trent Thomas basically said that's what was sold to him in recruiting, that he could be that next guy. But you just haven't heard hints of that in camp, that he's turning into this great receiving tight end. Maybe he's a red zone guy, but you haven't really heard it yet. So they've got some options, but it's really about Ethan Davis staying healthy, and that's just not something that's happened yet at Tennessee. Deshaun Brame is the guy whose stock is rising, and he's a guy that's been, had a good camp alongside Faison Brandon throwing him the ball. So he's another guy that could certainly benefit.
Brian or Dr. Sean Sinclair, do you have anything for the great Adam Sparks, who covers the University of Tennessee's football program with the utmost and to the nth degree?
Yeah, Adam, I don't know if you've looked at the schedule yet, but if you had to put a record out there, what do you see this team?
So my picks are supposed to come out, I think, for us maybe next week. 8-4 is what I'm going to go
Sorry
with.
about
that. 8-4 is what I would go with. Now, here's the problem, though, is when I looked at it overall, I thought this feels like an 8-4 type team, so I picked it 8-4. The problem is I had to pick game by game, and it was harder to get to 4 losses when you go game by game. So, lost to Texas, lost at Texas A&M. Typical with Josh Heupel tenure, I had to pick a road game that you would think they would win, but you pick it to lose. And so at South Carolina, I picked the sort of that trap game that they would lose. And, Lane Kiffin's got a circus in Baton Rouge, but it's also a $50 million roster.
That's right.
So I'm going to pick them to lose the LSU. So that's how I get to 4 losses. But I feel like they may be closer to 9 wins than 7. So, the problem also is who's going to be good? We kind of don't know. I mean, Texas is probably going to be good, but is Alabama going to be a playoff team, or is Alabama going to be an 8-4 team? Is Texas A&M going to be a playoff team? Or are they going to go back to being, pretty good Texas A&M, but also a team that flops in November? So it's kind of hard to say. But the fact that it is a freshman quarterback, I do think he's going to have growing pains. I do think he's going to have at least a couple, 3 games where it's obvious that he's a freshman. I think it's kind of hard to pick, higher than maybe like an 8.5, maybe over under.
It's just it's extremely interesting. Brian Hartman, I like how wide open the league is. Like you said, there's some teams that could really be great. There's some teams that could bomb. There are some teams that could be really good that we think are going to be really good that could bomb. There are going to be some teams like Florida that could come out of nowhere and win a bunch of games. I mean, this thing is as undefined going into this year as any season I can remember in a long time. When you just talk about the SEC as a whole, everybody's got reasons to feel good and everybody's got reasons to worry, except for maybe Georgia. And even there, who knows what could happen. Brian, go ahead with Adam Sparks.
Yeah, John Adams wrote a column about how facing a defense like that's run by Jim Knowles in practice every day could help Faison when he gets into SEC play. Do you kind of see some validity in that?
Yes. I've sort of asked behind the scenes how that has gone, because sometimes you will have offensive coaches that will go to their defensive coordinator and say, hey, here's what I need from you today. I need you to be a little more base today. I need you to lay off of doing this or doing that today. We're trying to work on this thing. We're trying to get our freshman quarterback to get some confidence, that sort of thing. From what I've been told, that is not how it's been played at Tennessee. Jim Knowles is out there to beat the offense. And he has things he's working on that he's trying out. And from everything that I've been told, again, we don't get to see the scrimmages. We don't get to see the 11 on 11.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that there's no conversation of that at all, is that Josh Heupel and Joey Halzle are trying to have a winning offense, and Jim Knowles is trying to have a winning defense in practice. And there's no conversation of, let's water things down to try to help the other side. So, yes, I absolutely think that's probably going to help Faison and George, but certainly Faison, because Jim Knowles is not applying training wheels for the sake of Faison Brandon.
What are the worry areas besides a true freshman quarterback, which comes and I look at what the really talented kid at Michigan did last year, the interception to touchdown ratio across all these freshmen that started in various offenses and various leagues. I mean, this kid's going to make mistakes. What are other worry areas around the team that you have?
Tight end could be one, and we talked about that. Are they as multiple as they want to be? If they if they can't go 2 tights at time, if they don't have a tight end they feel like they can block, that could limit things, especially when you have a young quarterback and you may need more protection there. Do you have the option personnel wise to do that? I don't know if they do. I think you could convince me that anything would be a question mark or a concern on defense. If you fast forwarded, 6 weeks from now and you told me the defensive line is a concern, I would believe it. Linebackers, I would believe it. And secondary, I would believe it. Because I think because of the new defense that's being put in, because of the questions of can they really pick up this scheme faster than other places Jim Knowles has been because there's assistants there and because there's a few Penn State players. I get that, but it may be a half a season rather than a full season for you to pick up on it. The defensive line has had some issues. Davon Hobbs he's been hurt again. I don't think it's serious, but he does have a foot injury. They lost a lot on the defensive line. So do you get what you want there? There's so much put on the secondary. They like Lane and Metcalf at safety, but beyond that, there's not guys that have played because of Farouk is out. So you could convince me that there's some issues in the secondary. And at linebacker, I know we have liked to prop up the linebackers and say this may be the best linebacking core in the country and maybe, as good as the ones Fulmer had back in the early 2000s and 90s and all that. But I'll just remind everybody, I can buy that, but I'll just remind everybody that Amari Campbell racked up a lot of tackles at Penn State, but he was not like a phenomenal, NFL draft type guy.
Right.
Jeremiah Telander got a lot of tackles, but I remember a year ago us saying, why can't Jeremiah Telander cover somebody out of the backfield? Same a little bit with Arion. So there were questions of each of these linebackers a year ago. Just because they played a lot doesn't mean they're necessarily as a group going to be better. So I think there's plenty of questions still on the defensive side.
On the way out, Adam, and I love you and I appreciate you. You're the man. You're Arion Carter, and now that we've gone from 3 to 2 to 1, I mean, was that a
You're grounded for 3 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 1
minutes.
week. Yeah. Was that the NCAA just in light of things, just adjusting here? Was that Tennessee petitioning and threatening them behind the scenes? Did the league go to bat for him? Do you have the backstory on that?
Tennessee was pushed and pushed and pushed. They were so ticked off yesterday by the fact that it went to 1. They thought it would go to 0. So when they got the call and were told it's going to 1, they were like, well, thanks, but no thanks.
Wow.
The public pressure, NCAA gave into the public pressure. This was them sort of admitting that it looked weird. It looked hypocritical. They were also responding to the obvious linkage that everybody made that these NFL players may get to come in, but Arion Carter is still suspended. That was a bad look. It was just strange, though, because they were admitting that they were wrong, but not entirely wrong. And, so that was a lot of it. They were responding to the public outcry, but also Tennessee, and they also can read the schedule. I think they thought, well, fine, we'll let him play against Georgia Tech, but not Furman. And in reality, that should be kind of fine. Tennessee is only mad because of the principle of it. I mean, Arion Carter was going to play like 20 snaps against Furman. So it kind of doesn't matter. But more of the principle, Tennessee was still ticked off.
Yeah, I'm glad Danny White ripped him in his statement. It's like, I mean, what you're going to pick on a kid that's an exemplary kid just to punch down? That's what you're doing. I mean, that's why the NCAA is, and that's why the whole sport is in the state they're in. The way they've treated these kids down through the years, it's true.
I think, and I'll say there's one more piece of this. They're in court a lot right now, and they may be in court a lot more over the next week. And if there was any question at the NCAA office, like, hey, do y'all think there's any chance anybody at Tennessee would go to court? Yes, they would. We all know that. So I think they just wanted any chance that they may be facing some 11th hour lawsuit from Knoxville. I think they were like, let's go ahead and nip this in the bud and let him play against Georgia Tech just in case, because we got a lot of lawyers dealing with a lot of other things right now. I think that was an element of it too.
Hey, Adam, on the way out, your thoughts on the passing of Dolly Parton. You've lived in the state a long, long time.
Yeah. obviously everybody loved Dolly for all the reasons that's been mentioned the last 18 hours or whatever. My grandfather played with a lot of country stars in Nashville. I think he may have played with Porter Wagner. He played in Jimmy Dickens. My grandfather played with little Jimmy Dickens.
Is he a musician? Your grandfather a musician?
Yes, yeah. Played
Wow.
Electric mandolin. He's passed now. He passed about 5 or 6 years ago.
You said he's a mandolin?
Yeah, mandolin. Yeah,
wow.
electric mandolin.
Wow.
Yeah. He had a great story back in. He was drafted into Korea. He was supposed to play in the Ryman back in 1950, with little Jimmy Dickens because he was his backup band at the time. And he got drafted that week. Never got word to the band that he wasn't going to make it. So to his dying day, my granddad could not stand Harry S. Truman because he thought he was the reason that he didn't get to play live in the Ryman. But anyway, so I would grow up hearing a lot about the country stars that he would know either firsthand or secondhand. And so he would know Dolly. He didn't really know Dolly, but he knew of Dolly through Porter Wagner and sort of that little circle there. And so when I was growing up, obviously everybody knew Dolly Parton then, but my grandfather would still talk about Dolly as if she was a teenage girl because he would hear secondhand from all the other people that knew Dolly when she was coming up as one of the, young up and coming girls, as you would see her on the Porter Wagner show. And so even when, Dolly was 60 years old, he would still talk about her as if she was, the 19-year-old upstart. And so that's sort of how I remember Dolly Parton.
Adam, that's really cool. I would love to hear some stories about your grandfather and some of the things he did. That's really, wow. You just nerded me out, man. Hey, Adam, thank you. I hope you have a great day.
Yep, no problem. Good to be on.
Thanks for appearing on the High Noon Hotline. Look, it's noon somewhere. We're heading for a high noon overtime. Let's go ahead and load the phone lines if you want to get in with us at 865-200-5402. And we're heading for a high noon overtime on the other side as we bring it back. Boy, that's amazing. See, a lot of you Nashville folks, man, the music roots, and that is that's cool. Buddy of mine in college, his dad was a studio guitar player, studio musician. I had no idea what that meant when we were in college. I was like, oh, that's cool. He plays guitar, huh? You know how good you got to be in one of those bands, and to get studio work. Oh, it's so cool. As we continue on the other side. Right after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's national award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's premium vodka, T3, Tennessee's premium vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition and top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you, because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. William Pattison on my playbook. Hit it.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's high noon somewhere. Sun's up, and it's time for another High Noon Overtime. The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it. Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added and is gluten-free. Live like the sun is always out. And now, it's time for High Noon Overtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another High Noon Overtime. Or as I'm calling it, the High Noon Hotline. And if you want to get on the High Noon Hotline, the place where we kick back, talk about it, break it down scientifically, look ahead to tomorrow's show, all that stuff. We fire up, we focus, we prepare. Shout out to Kevin Potter, who came in here yesterday and helped us. And I got that fix. As Maurice used to say, Bri, right? Back in the day. Got that fix, Bri?
I got it fixed. I got the fix.
Yep. And I'm eating my electrolytes, Bri, as we speak. I've got a packet of Zero Grape in honor of our strength and conditioning coach. I switched to Zero. And my belly. And my belly, as they say in Philly, my belly. So, the SEC is now threatening. I mean, threatening LSU, daring LSU, daring the renegade Lane Kiffin, who loves the attention, by the way, daring the crazy-ass governor down there, daring these people to walk out there, daring these people to walk out there. Read it to him, Brian.
The schools that violate the SEC's professional sports rule will result in a 50% season suspension for head coaches, 50% of that sport's annual operating budget, and SEC voting privileges on business matters revoked.
50% of LSU's annual budget. That's $125 million. Now, Sean, do you think this stops Lane Kiffin from trying to pull the stunt?
Well, he could, but I mean, I'll remind everybody that, Penny Hardaway tried to pull the stunt several years ago with the big center, and it all made big news and all that stuff, and didn't all the whole thing just thrown out, and the kid couldn't play, and they vacated the wins, and there you go. And that was before the season even ended. So it nothing would put back this. That's poor leadership on LSU's part if they let that guy run the ship.
What I think is really interesting is, and Adam just said it because Adam's right, these NFL players are going to sue now to get back in. And you're going to see G League players sue to get back in. Look.
Well, but they can't sue to be admitted to a conference. The conference can do whatever they want.
I don't know about that, Sean. I think that's
sure it is. Well, how could I? Let's say Tennessee just said, "Well, screw your 12 game. We're going to play 14 games. We'll do whatever we want."
I don't know about any of that. I don't know about I don't know about the legalities or illegalities of that. But the threat now is to the schools, not the kids. Kids can sue, but who are they suing? Well, the kids can sue the conferences for saying, "Hey, we have a right to play. Can't just pass a law against this."
Well, how about the SEC? I think they have this thing where something about you can't transfer within a conference or something like that and be immediately. There's something the SEC has. I don't know the exact rule, but it's something about transferring.
Yeah.
Here and there.
I'm for
I don't know
doing
what
it.
it is. Obviously, you can transfer because the Henry kid went over to South Carolina, but there's some rule I believe that the SEC has.
I was on Plaster's show yesterday. I'm for LSU doing this because I want total chaos, because I want us to have collective bargaining so we can get back to enjoying these sports and some semblance of organization, because right now it's a disorganized, chaotic mess. And the fan is the one that loses in all this because everybody's getting squeezed. These greedy sumbitches at the top of these universities are just greedy. They're greedy. I'm sorry.
Let's take a look at this. Let's talk about the tight end. Okay, great. You can't make a practice squad.
Right.
And none of the other NFL teams think you're worth a flip to claim you on waivers for nothing. I mean, are you really all that great? No, you're just an older dude that's going to be on the roster. I mean, it's not like they're getting Myles Garrett to come into college.
Right. That's what I don't understand about Lane Kiffin, but he's always been the one, Sean, to push it. You know that. If anybody's going to do this, and if anybody's going to operate this way, it's these guys. They're also trying to get a player that hasn't played college basketball in 18 months back on their campus. Player who was in the G League for 2 different teams last year. Player who was, when he last played in college basketball, a conference player of the year at St. John's. I mean, these people, none of their heroes appear on your stamps.
Well, I'm not so sure that LSU. I mean, Ole Miss would have won 2 playoff games with Lane Kiffin. It's easy to say, well, Pete Golding did, but I don't know about that. I'm not saying Pete Golding's a better coach than Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin's a great head coach. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's a clown, but he's a great coach.
What I think will be really,
I think LSU played above their abilities, despite Lane Kiffin.
What I think is a really interesting thing, Sean, is the fact that Danny White is right. There's a reason why these presidents and these commissioners who speak for the presidents don't want collective bargaining. Now, I can't figure out the reason why. I think it might be that they probably have calculated that, if we let these guys in and give them a piece of our TV pie, then we can't get the billionaires to fund our rosters anymore. That might be the
Tell me about the basketball player that Rick Barnes just brought in, because I'll be consistent. If he's done stuff, and I don't care what kind of lawsuit he has, or it's an independent lawsuit. If he falls under the same thing, if you signed a contract, you were in the draft, you didn't pull yourself out, just because I'm a Tennessee homer, then too bad.
But he won in court.
Care.
Well, that's fine. A
rule's a rule. A rule's a rule. So, I mean, anybody can say, okay, well, we're going to fine you this amount of money. Now I'm going to go to a court and say it's unconstitutional. I mean, come on.
The whole thing is going to be really, really interesting. And what would have happened if the Paxton guy didn't overplay his hand in Texas, thus forcing or allowing the Big 12 to go in there and slap Texas Tech the way that they did? What would have happened if Sorsby would have turned around and sued their league? We don't know. I don't know.
Well, one of the guys in the chat said that Tony's lower lip said, which is a beautiful lower lip, by the way, said that Jalen Washington never signed a contract. Well, if that's the case, if he meets the criteria and can come back, great. I'm all for it.
Yeah. And the Uzan kid from Houston did. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about all this, okay? Danny White's right. And until we get to that point, this is asinine and silly. Because I don't give a damn if Jalen Washington signed the contract or not. I mean, we shouldn't have to worry about that. There are so many things to keep track of now. I mean, it's annoying. And it's ridiculous. And here's what they ought to do in college basketball, and they ought to do it in football too. But they ought to have a time. You go to an NFL camp in the spring, one of these NFL camps. If you have eligibility left and you want to go back to college, they should have a little supplemental something or other period for these guys that know they made mistakes to go back and quote unquote work toward their degrees. But really, if you have eligibility left, everybody should get 5 years. And then when the 5 years is up, it's up. That's what they ought to do. And if the college basketball kids want to come back, let them come back. If this Chapman guy wants to come back this year and play his 5th year like he was expecting to when he moved here last week before the injunction was slapped down, what's the harm going to be if Reese Chapman plays for the baseball team this year?
Well, here's the bullcrap part of the whole thing is if there was no NIL, none of these guys would be coming back.
Well, that's the point.
None of these guys are coming back for the love of the sport or I want to get another degree.
Of course. And I don't blame them, Sean.
Freaking Streisand.
Sean,
no, I don't either.
I don't blame
either. I don't know. I'm not naive. I don't mind it either. Let's get real. Again, a tight end that could not make a practice squad in the NFL and totally cleared waivers for free. You ain't all that. Who cares? It'd be nice, and I'm not here to rip the kid, but people were talking about Jackson Moy. All right. I love the kid. Great VFL, but he's a depth piece at best.
Back to our phones.
I'd like to know if any of these guys are coming back to, change the score.
Back to the phones we go at 865-200-5402, plus the passing of Dolly Parton. If you want to say a word about that, you're invited to do that. I think that college sports have not adjusted to the reality that we're all in now, though. That's the deal here. The truth is, I can make more money playing college basketball than I can tons more in the bus leagues. Tons more. It's not even close. So, by the way, this is 1 0 packet that I'm just eating a little bit at a time here. This is grape today. Grape is my flavor today. Getting some electrolytes in me. Hello and welcome in to our next call. You're on our high noon hotline. Welcome in. Hi.
What's up, Tona, Sean, it's Bobby?
Hey, welcome in.
Hey, man. First and foremost, just talking sports. The fact that Reese Chapman drove, 20 hours in his car, only to arrive and within hours be told he's not allowed to play now.
Mm-hmm.
The NIL era and or this litigious players can and cannot play thing, it's been out of hand, but now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like last week, somebody said, what are the chances Reese Chapman plays here this year? I said 100%. 100% was the answer at the time. Because guess what?
Yeah,
it was 100% at the time because he 100% knew that he told some friends of mine, hey, I'm coming in to play. And
yeah.
And then they put a release out yesterday. Well, he's here to coach. He ain't here to coach. That's not happening. No. He's not here to coach. Now it might end up happening.
He's here until his injunction's heard.
Yeah, he's gonna see somebody in court. And I hope he wins.
I do too. And that's selfish, but also not in a selfish way because he deserves that 5th year. And to Sean's point, Jackson Moy, I'm a Jackson Moy homer. I got to know his family while they were here. They're fantastic people. And for my purposes, totally selfishly, I want him here because I love his family and they're wonderful people and they deserve another chance if that's what they want. And I loved your idea, Tony.
I'll throw a wrench in here, though, about Reese Chapman, and I love the guy, too.
Sure.
But I don't want Reese Chapman's presence here to knock out a chance for some of these transfers.
Good point. But with Blaine Brown being hurt.
I mean, I love me some Reese Chapman, but come on, man.
I agree, but with Blaine Brown being hurt, you need depth in your outfield at this point.
I get that, but I want to see some guys get a chance because they brought in some guys that put up way better potential numbers than Reese Chapman.
I don't know.
And I'm not hating
I
on
like
the
our team captain, who was our best player last year, being back. And again, we could debate that all day long. I'm not dismissing your point at all.
Reese Chapman was our best player last year?
I'm with you, Roberto.
I think
he was the most productive.
He was our best player last year. Defensively, he was easily our best player. And at least in the outfield. I mean, you could caveat all you want, but I thought he was great, and I'd love to have him back. But nonetheless, I digress. Tony, if you'll oblige me just a second to talk about Dolly, have a personal story or two. My wife actually used to work for the city of Pigeon Forge, and Dolly was always the grand marshal of their parade. And I thought it was so cool the couple times I got to watch her do it. She would always be at the back of the parade, and I heard her once say, the reason I'm at the back of the parade is because I want everybody else to have their moment when they go through the parade. Because if I go through first, people will leave. She actually said that, and I've heard her say it.
That's very
cool. And the
cool.
second thing was, she would literally start and her float or whatever, it was always a float, but her float was always at the back of the parade, right? She would go through and shake and say hello to literally every single volunteer and every person in that parade. Tall, young, black, white, purple, green, male, female, doesn't know what they are, every person. And that just struck me as, that's what East Tennessee is actually about. She represented East Tennessee as well as you could. And the second story is, this is one you probably never heard because it's never hit the papers. There was a dilapidated old senior center in Sevier County where my mom and all her friends that are in this quilt guild quilt. Okay. And Dolly apparently drove by it one day with her entourage of people and saw it and said, I'm going to buy that. And I'm going to redo the whole building. And she bought the building, redid the whole building, and then gave it to the people. And they presented a quilt. And my mom is a regionally known quilter, as in she's won several awards, first place, second place, all the way down to fifth throughout the region, right? And she got to design a quilt for Dolly, and she got to present it. And Dolly was so gracious to my mom. And I just, we lost like an amazing person yesterday, not just an amazing superstar, great country singer who wrote two of the greatest country songs ever written within a 24-hour period of each other. We lost a humanitarian and a great human, and it's really deflating. And a part of East Tennessee died with her yesterday. Take care.
Thank you. Great talking.
Hold on. I just looked it up because Roberto was pretty confident about that, and Reese Chapman was one of our 3 or 4 most productive. So you could make that argument. I'm not going to agree the best, but you certainly have an argument. So I came off kind of aggressive about that, but no, you could make that argument legitimately, and I hope Reese gets back on the team. That's I stand corrected, and I looked it up myself. So he had a nice productive season. Roberto was right.
Basilio Shepard said the sheep of Tennessee want to be able to play these pros, but don't want anybody else to play the pros. That's hilarious. I think there ought to be a window for these guys. I think if you're like a Reese Chapman type and you don't have a Major League Baseball future, and you kind of realize that, you ought to, if you have 5 years, you ought to be able to go back. I'm not saying go back when you're 29, but you're 23, 22, go back, play that final year. Nothing's going to hurt. And somebody said, this started with the COVID year. I remember Tony Vitello telling me, wait till you see college baseball in the next couple of years. It's going to be older. It's going to be better. It's going to be more competitive. They're going to be professional players on the field rather than all kids. And you know what? He was right. And the sport kind of took off when that happened. And you know what else has happened during this NIL era? Because my lower lip on the YouTube had a really good point, which is, and my lower lip makes good points, by the way, when it's not being just doused with Gatorade Zero grape flavor, which has just happened. Second round picks in the NBA, guys on teams make way less money than you can playing major college basketball. Tennessee's got several guys on their roster, several, that are making a lot more money than guys that will see time in the NBA this year. I know that's bizarre. Now here's the thing, and I'm not stupid, okay? You get in the NBA, you get a year that counts toward your pension. You get an NBA pension, that's a big deal. Okay, that's a big deal. But I'm talking about there's real money at stake. I'm sure one of the guys that wants that LSU wants to claw back, this Pyburn guy, signed a 3-year contract with the Bucks. And the Bucks say that the minute he comes back, they're going to take him back because they own his rights for XYZ amount of time, whatever that is. So it's bizarre. I mean, we're living in a bizarre era. Bizarre era. But let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. VFL 2019 has a real hard-on for anybody that doesn't celebrate Dolly in the way VFL 2019 wants them. Hey, VFL 2019, here's an idea for you. Shut the hell up. How's that sound to you, buddy? You are not the arbiter. No. Hang on a second here. You are not the arbiter, like a lot of you young kids think you are, of what's right and what's wrong in this world. Shut the hell up. Don't tell any. You're not. First of all, you don't run this show. I do. You've done this a couple times with people. Adam Sparks. I didn't want a story about your grandfather. I wanted one about Dolly Parton. Who in the fuck? Who are you, kid? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are saying that? Adam Sparks can tell any. Adam Sparks can tell any damn. Adam Sparks can tell any damn story he wants to. You wet behind the ears, little bastard. All right. You can get you some of that. Okay. You don't come in here and tell people how they can mourn or how they can celebrate somebody. Not up to your specifications, you little bastard. And I'd say it right to your face too. Don't worry about that. I hope you learn from this. I want you to be better. Be better. You're better than this. I hate when people tell me that. I'm like, no, I'm not better than this. Be better. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Sean, Brian, Joshy boy.
Welcome to the High Noon Hotline.
Joshy boy, how about our Braves last night?
How about our Bravo, Sean? Tony, you just got me fired up,
folks, and prepared.
When you went on that rant, yeah.
Interesting. My electrolytes are kicking in. My electrolytes are kicking in.
And also, about an hour or two ago, rest in peace, Tim Curry.
Oh, I know, man.
Man, was he a great character actor or what?
Yeah. Tony, so do you agree with what Adam said? It may take half a season for this defense to be pretty good. Like halfway through the season, we could definitely see a change.
A change in what?
Like the defense is pretty good under Knowles' system.
I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be really good from the very beginning, if it's going to be growing pains. I would imagine in the Georgia Tech game, there are going to be guys out of position. And I would imagine that how do you put this? The fact that Adam makes a good case. Our linebackers aren't exactly fleet of foot. I don't know if anybody realizes that. People act like we're going to have, Alabama under Saban's linebacking core, and we're just not. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I think this team's going to inevitably end up in the 8-4 range.
And I know, Sean, you said it not too long ago. Jeremiah Thielander and Arion Carter, they were out of position a lot in some games last season.
I did. And at times it looked like electric football out there. But I'll say this. Now, Arion Carter's fast. But I'll say this. I didn't really take into account of how bad Tim Banks was. Now, don't give me 2 years ago when he had all those fifth and seventh year seniors on the D line, but I'm willing to bet that from the jump we are better organized and have a better plan from game one than Tim Banks had all year last year.
Sure.
I don't know if we'll be statistically better, but I will bet that we have answers to problems better than we did last year, Joshua Boy.
But will we execute? Because Penn State couldn't execute what the guy wanted to do last year. And that's been the book on him year one over year two. That's another reason why I feel great about next season, because it's year two under him.
Well, I bet we're a better tackling team. That's a start.
We are. I want to see a lot of blitzes this season. That's what I want to see from this Knowles defense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see. I don't, from that standpoint, I don't know what we'll see. I'm not going to speak on something.
If you guys had to guess, Tony and Sean, who do you think will win that final wide receiver 3 spot? Do you think it'll be Keys? Do you think it'll be Rodarius Jackson or Travis Smith?
Jackson.
That's
he's such a unlike Jared Curtis, who's like 35 years old.
Yeah.
What's his face came? I believe Rodarius Jackson came into UT at like 16 years old. He's so young, has an incredible catch radius. I don't know what he's done this fall so far, but I look for him because I think he's more consistent. Travis Smith, he's kind of a one-trick route pony to me. He's a deep ball guy right now, and TK Keys is. I think he's still. I think the injury kind of hampered him a little bit. So I could be wrong, often am, but I think that it's going to be Jackson. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Rodarius Jackson, Sean. And one last thing out the door, guys. I agree with what Roberto said. I think it's 1,000% that Reese Chapman is going to play for his 6th season. Josie's on a vacation far away.
Come on in and get my clipboard. On the High Noon Hotline, I got a little upset with VFL 2019, who's accusing me of your fan base has the same freedom of speech as you, buddy. He said, I was telling the caller was telling a heartfelt Dolly story, and as soon as the caller hung up, Cinco immediately talked about something he Googled to see if he was right, and I was just messing with Cinco. VFL 2019, you weren't messing. You came at Adam Sparks because he didn't give a proper tribute the way you wanted him to give a proper tribute. Don't dishonestly. And look, here's the thing. You need to shut the hell up. Okay? You don't tell people.
Sounds like if I'm reading the chat right, he sounds like he's kind of challenging you to do a fight down at Calhoun.
Listen. You don't tell people how to mourn somebody's loss or what to say to them and honor them. Dolly Parton connected Adam to his grandfather, you stupid ass kid. You're stupid ass. And you're still in here arguing with me. And by the way, freedom of speech, I'm letting you talk in here. I'm not banning you. I'm not blocking you, you soft ass. Don't be soft, kid. I'm not blocking you. You can say what you want to say, but you're not the main character, brah. You're not. And when you jump at people and you jump in here and you say, well, you got to say it a certain way to conform to my level of, this is Dolly's Day. You jumped in here earlier and said, why are we talking about anything else on Dolly's Day? Hey, look, you little prick. I will host this show and you'll decide. Okay. I have the power of the button. This show has my name on it. Okay. When I was your age, I was passing out flyers at the University of Tennessee trying to get the show off the ground before there was such a thing as the internet. I sweated. I bled. I didn't have any money back in the 90s. I paid the price to be in this spot right now, you little bastard. You're not going to tell me how to do my show. You fit you dig? It's not what we do. You're free to say what you're going to say. But you need to learn from that. I'm being serious now. It's not a radio thing. You need to learn from this. You don't tell people how to remember somebody. You're not the arbiter of that, okay? You and kids your age. Kids your age have a litmus test for everything. Put an X on this thing if you're for George Floyd or whatever, social media. You don't do that stuff. You don't tell people how to behave. It's not your call, kid. You and your generation. It's not your call. I'm sorry. Listen to me. Listen. Wait a second here, Sean. Wait a second here. You don't come in here, and then another guy earlier today, some asshole, put Watson's Browns record up there. Hey, prick. How many games have you coached in college? Let me ask you that. Because he did it for 40 years. Putting his record. Where are we having him on? The hell are you, man?
That's not cool.
I mean, what? I mean, you people, I blocked him, and I'm not going to block you, but I'm being serious here. That's not what you did. You didn't poke at Sean. You have this, I'm better than you. Adam didn't mourn the passing of Dolly Parton the way I think he should have mourned her. He didn't conform to whatever my little worldview is. Hey, listen, shut the hell up. Okay? And I'll tell you that in my forum. I will tell you that because I bled and I sweated and I was in the poorhouse for a decade to get this damn thing off the ground. And you will shut the hell up. Okay? Now we will go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on our High Noon Hotline.
Lemongrass, Cinco.
This guy. Good God Almighty. Hello and welcome in. You're on.
His timing is always perfect.
Hello and welcome in. You're on the show.
I'm on.
Hey, boy Billy. How's boy?
Hey, the Tony Basilio show was here before the internet. It'll be after the internet. People going to learn today about the show Record Tone. You on one, baby.
Well, I mean, we're going to tell people we should tell people how to mourn. I mean, is that what we're doing?
Man. Yeah. You got to get with people. Let them know, man. Hey, Tone, just in general, man, I got some thoughts, man. I'm trying to out here listen to radio and then just enjoy sports, but I feel like I'm in law school doing a vocab worksheet, learning all these terms, injunctions, TROs, appeals, jurisdiction, appellate courts. I mean, I ain't trying to intern for Marcos Garza, you know what I mean?
Well, that's exactly right. And people ask about this case and that case and the guy at Vanderbilt and did he sign a contract or not? And did he do? I mean, I want to watch sports. You know, if I wanted to go work with Marcos, exactly, I would go work with him. You're exactly right. That's not my calling.
That's what I'm saying.
And by the way, boy, Billy, what is lemongrass? The caller before you said lemongrass. What does that mean? Lemongrass.
I don't know, something like that with like those wheatgrass shots, healthy shots. Maybe there's some lemongrass shots that people do for like health juice or something. Maybe that, I don't know.
Cinco, what is lemongrass? Any idea why he said that to you? What is lemongrass? Does anybody have any idea what that means? Lemongrass? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, lemon heads, one of my favorite candies.
Evan Dando and the Lemonheads. Great 90s band. Cinco, were you a Lemonheads guy? Did I lose Cinco, Bri?
No, I definitely am not a Lemonheads guy.
Do you mean the candy or the group?
The group.
Really? I love Lemonheads. I loved all that, like 90s,
now, the candy,
90s pop rock stuff. Somebody asked if that's prednisone in my drink. I jumped all over that.
Did they really reduce that Arian Carter thing down to one game?
One game. And Danny White issued a release saying, that's a joke. Why is he suspended for a game? It was 3 games. Now it's 2 games. Now it's 1 game. There's
3-2-1. I mean, then it's going to be a half. Then, by the time kickoff, it might knock down to a series. You never know.
They're totally into punching down.
I don't want him playing against Furman anyway.
Michael Moats, lemongrass, genius, also called lemongrass, is a grass plant used as a culinary and medical herb because its leaves and oil leave and have a lemony scent. That's cool. We use lemon oil to clean stringed instruments when we change strings. Some of us, I do, but.
All right. Tom, I got nothing. I just wanted to give you my legal expertise,
Boy, Billy, are you feeling good about this Faison Brandon thing?
Yeah, you got to do it, man. If you go game theory on it, you got to keep 5-star recruits in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And if McIntyre and him are close, you can't risk losing a 5-star to the portal. People would go nuts. They'd be so frustrated. So if it's close, Faison's winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just got to. Later, man.
Thank you. VFL 2019 said Tony is going to sick the Italian mob on me. I'm not, kid. I appreciate you being there. Let's go back to our phones. Do you like Gin Blossom Spry from the 90s?
I don't know who Gin Blossoms are.
All right.
Was that Jacob Dylan?
That is.
No, that was Wallflowers.
Wallflowers. Sorry about that.
You're all right. Gin Blossoms were great. Lemonhead Cinco. Were you an Evan?
Boy Hewitt Pruitt in here.
Were you an Evan Dando guy, Cinco?
Was I what?
Evan Dando guy from let's see, Lemonheads. Do you like them at all in the 90s?
I don't. I kind of like all the, and I know it's a little different. I like a wide variety. I like Frank Black and the Pixies. I love the Pixies. I would put that Wallflowers, Train, some of those things in this Collective Soul. I'd put those in a group that I'd say I liked all that kind of stuff.
I like Train. I like Pat Monahan. He's a good Pennsylvania boy.
Man, they do an awesome Led Zeppelin cover. I mean, not just one. I mean, he can sing the heck out of some Led Zeppelin.
He's a great singer.
He really is, and a cool guy. I mean, I'm not
really cool.
I've kind of lost favor with Howard Stern, but he would come on. He would come on Stern, and they would train, and he would do stuff. And I'm telling you what, they do some of the best Led Zeppelin covers I've ever heard.
I'm telling
you,
man.
Go check him out on YouTube.
Oh,
that cat's awesome.
I guarantee you. I'll tell you who did a great, really cool Zeppelin thing that I've gone down their rabbit hole. There's a documentary out about him. Is Dred Zeppelin.
Oh yeah, I saw them.
They
were in Knoxville when I saw them in college.
Really?
Yeah, they were in Knoxville. Yeah,
great
I don't know
musicians.
where it was. I don't know if it was at the. It used to be called the. I don't know where it was. I think it was at. We used to call it the. What was it called? Everyone knew it as the library, but before that, it was
the Last Lap.
Oh, what was it? No. The U Club. It was called the U Club, and then it became the library.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I saw Dred Zeppelin there, and that's when they, it was a mixture of Led Zeppelin and reggae.
Yes,
and it was awesome.
Led Zeppelin and reggae presented and sung by a guy named Tort Elvis, who was in a
Tort Elvis,
who was in a Fat Elvis getup.
Yep. Man, they were. I think I saw them at the U Club.
Look up Dred Zeppelin Black Dog, kids. You'll be glad you did. I'm telling you, you will laugh.
Another one I saw on the strip was when Henry Rollins and Black Flag played down there. That was freaking crazy.
Back to the phones we go. And Dolly Parton would have time for all this music that we're talking about, which is what I love about her. And there's a great Led Zeppelin cover of her out there. But she got on stage with so many different singers from so many different genres, and they all love her. That's what I love about her. She's a music celebrator. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Right, so that was sort of like a live public execution.
The way I went off on that kid.
Good Lord, man. I'm like, yeah.
I do have a little bit of a trigger to me, Lee. Every once in a while, it'll come out. Every once in a while.
Like that, was it that meme or whatever you call him? Was it stop it? He's dead already. Like,
poor kid.
Anyway, okay. So let me this stuff with like the practice squad players and the NFL coming back to college. So let me get this straight. Like all the stuff we've been going through for like 5 years in college sports, like this is the line in the sand for everybody. Like this is what's gonna this is where everybody's like, no, I'm done, canceling my subscription.
It's so true.
This is the tipping point, really? I don't know. It's like 10 players, right, that are on practice squads. Doc's right. Like none of them are like difference makers. These aren't like first or second round draft picks. You know, I mean, I'm sure they can provide depth pieces and all, but at the end of the day, it's like the 2022 players. Like, look, if they had just announced 6 months ago that the 5-for-5 ruling was going to be in effect, most of these guys probably would have stayed in college anyway.
That's exactly right. And that's what they should have done. But they can't do everything is bass backwards with them, Lee. They cannot just do the normal thing, quote unquote. Just for once, can they just respond to what's around them where they're not getting hammered in court?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's stupid. I don't like it. But I kind of understand what those players are saying. Like, they weren't given they were told their eligibility was up. And they find out these other guys are getting out of my same class are getting this year. So I mean, I feel like they probably have a case if they do want to sue these conferences. I don't know if it's easier to sue I'm assuming it's more difficult to sue a conference. We obviously know you can sue the NCAA and probably win 90% of the time. I don't know if you can do that with the conference. It's probably more difficult, I'm assuming. But, you know, like I said, this is just from what I understand, this is just the 2022 players wanting their 5th year.
That's all it is. Yeah.
You know, it's a handful of guys. Like, if you hadn't jumped off the cliff yet, don't do it now with this. It's kind of stupid if you ask me. But
of course, the Vandy fan in the room, Lee, totally misunderstands what you're saying. He says Pavia was a difference maker and he went undrafted. Hey, dude, Pavia doesn't apply to this. He had like 9 years in college.
Yeah.
Pavia was like 32 years old. Jared Curtis thinks Pavia's old. They're Vandy Dandy. Yeah. How about Jared Curtis, Lee, being 20 and just now starting college? What is that backstory, you think?
Well, he'll be 20 in December. Let's not go crazy.
And like Cinco said, how about this? Like Cinco said, Jared Curtis also, what did it look like when that kid was on the field in single A private football last year? No wonder he's a 5-star kid. It probably looked like Jefferson from like Fast Times at Ridgemont High or something.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was definitely playing in lower classification. I mean, it looked exaggerating. People are exaggerating when they call it middle school ball, but man, it didn't look like it was a whole lot better, to be honest. There's a bunch of small kids running around out there.
Yes.
And I think the kid's still probably going to be good. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think that was the case with him. But I mean, yeah, these guys coming back, they're like 22. I mean, college is filled with guys that are like 24 already.
Yes.
So we're going to get like 10 or 22-year-olds in. Okay, whatever. You know, like it will be kind of interesting if they were to get on the field and like, you know, then you start getting in this. I don't want to go through this whole thing where like maybe they played and we got to worry about if they're going to be ruled ineligible, and like I don't want to go down that road for sure. But like I said, I just think it's funny that this is the tipping point for everybody. It's like this is what's got everybody.
It's so funny that you say it that way. Like all this stuff we've seen, all this like just whatever this whole big bang that's happened here since the NIL, all this madness, all this craziness, Lane Kiffin leaving a playoff team last year, all this stuff. And this is the thing that's broken. This is the straw that's broken the camel's back. That's such a great way of putting it, Lee. I'm jealous of you that I didn't come up with that because it's true.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't like it, but I just think it's a little bit humorous.
I'm done. Never watched another game.
Yeah.
Never gonna win another game.
I mean, all this like started with COVID, man. Well, like, when you started granting these eligibility years, that's when all this stuff started with the eligibility stuff, man. Like once you started giving them an extra year with the COVID thing, that was a domino. And we're still seeing them fall. So, but anyway, yeah, we got week 0, man. That I'm gonna have to debate how I'm spending my time, man. Like looking at these markets on these stupid games. I'm gonna end up doing.
Well, getting rid of the bottom line.
Do it again, Bri. You just cut out. What'd you say, Bri? Bri, what did you just say? I think he just went.
What do you make of ESPN getting rid of the?
ESPN's getting rid of their bottom line.
Am I still on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're getting rid of the bottom line ticker.
You know when that
because they want the focus to be what's going on with the game and
wow, that's interesting. I wonder if market research,
more real estate for the game.
I wonder if market. You know what they're going to do is put advertising.
This year.
They're going to put advertising down there.
College.
Yeah, they'll find something to put on there.
They're going to put advertising down there. Yep. They're going to put advertising down there. You know when the tickers debuted, right? The first time we ever saw a ticker, 9/11. In the United States of America. That's what they put them on the screen to keep people posted on what was going on. 9/11 was the first day of the tickers. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like in this day and age, everybody knows the score. They got a phone in their hand. Like everybody knows the scores of these games. And,
yep.
And so
I'll tell you what drives me nuts, Lee, is when you're listening to sports radio stations and they do these 2020 updates. I'm like kids and program directors everywhere. It's not 1988 anymore, sweetheart. We all have a phone. We all know what happened last night. Any information we want, we get over our morning cup of coffee. Quit having 2020 news breaks. Stop that.
It's funny you said that because the other night I was going down some YouTube rabbit holes and I got caught up watching the 86 Sugar Bowl and just watching the broadcast on it.
Mm-hmm.
When they were at the beginning of the broadcast, they were updating the scores, from the Rose Bowl, which was kind of out of hand by the time the UT game started. Like UCLA was blowing out. I forgot who it was that was involved in the national title race, but the Orange Bowl was starting like right after the Sugar Bowl. I guess it started, so they were keeping the scores updated for like Penn State and Oklahoma. I think, like a totally different time. And I remember how cool that was. Like when you didn't have a phone in your hand and you're waiting for them to come on and update like the scores of those games to determine who was going to win the national title.
Isn't that funny? It was like another world. It was so long ago, man. Another world.
Yeah.
Well, the NFL used to, every 10 minutes they would update you scores before you had that, before it was like in the 80s.
Yeah. I don't mind tickers. And by the way, when you watch NFL broadcasts now, you realize two things. They do them for gamblers, and NFL broadcasts are done for fantasy players. That when you watch NFL, that's what it's about.
Well, what would their ratings be if there was no gambling and no fantasy?
You're exactly right. And they play to it, buddy. You're exactly right.
Hey man, look, like back in like the early 2000s, man, I've still got the 800 number memorized, man. It was like where you would call and they would update scores on college basketball games on a nightly basis. They would update them like every 22 minutes.
I remember that.
And it cost like $1. I don't know. There was a charge to it, but yeah, I mean that was the only way you could like really get updates like before everything blew up. But yeah, I still have that phone number memorized.
Isn't that funny? When I was a kid starting in radio, doing a show at 11 o'clock at night, I would call over to the News Sentinel, and somebody there would be nice enough to help me because they knew what I was trying to do, but they would give me the scores that night. There was no internet. There was no computers. How did you get the scores? mean, where would you get them if you're me? You had to call the newspaper and rely on somebody. Crazy.
Anyway, those are the days. Yeah, I'm going to get back to looking at these stupid games, man. These updated odds. Like, limits are starting to go up for week 0, so like you're starting to see some movement.
Uh-oh.
These stupid games. And I'm going to end up like being forced to bet some like stupid Sacramento State game if the market keeps betting Eastern Michigan. It's ridiculous, man. But
love, bro. Thank you.
See you guys.
The plight of the degenerate, the rambling, gambling man. Hey, by the way, I'm excited for week 0. I'll be watching tomorrow night, 1AA, Lee. That's how much of a degenerate I am for this stuff. I'll be pumped for it.
Tomorrow night, it's at All Sports.
Yep. Somebody was asking about 9/11, which I think the 25th year, is that right? It's 25th anniversary of that.
Yes.
I remember that day so well. I was Polaris of Knoxville, which was down on Chapman Highway at the time, when the second plane hit and we knew it was a terrorist thing, and I hurried back to the studio, and I was at 95.7 Radio at the time, which is part of the South Central Radio Group, which is the group that houses WIMZ and then B97.5, which have been there forever. But our studio was right next to WIMZ's. I jumped on the air at 11 a.m. Jeff Brock came down there with me at some point. People were bringing us food. We were on till 2 o'clock in the morning. We were on till 2 o'clock in the morning. Somebody asked me the other day if I, one of our listeners, Drew, asked me if I had any tape of that, and no, I not that I know of. I don't know of anything that exists from that day. But I remember the whole concept of the way this has always united us. I remember the outpouring of community and the shock and the sadness. But my one crystal clear memory of that week, of that day, was walking out, and that was high up on the hill up at South Central Radio. But I remember walking outside, and there was like an overlook in that building. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. And we went over to like the overlook where you can look out over North Knoxville, not the city part, but the other side. And all you can hear faintly in the distance, all you can hear what felt like it was something up in the air, kind of going around and around, but there was no air traffic at all. But I believe there was something up there kind of patrolling like over where Oak Ridge is. That's what I kind of believe. It was so eerie and weird. And driving home that night was so eerie and weird. And then the SEC did, we did a Florida simulcast back then. Again, internet was a baby back then. So we would do a show where we linked Florida station and our station, and the fans would fight it out. We did it for 3 or 4 years. And in 2001, Sean Nunley, myself, and a couple other folks drove. My brother-in-law, John, was there. We drove all night to get down to Gainesville because they hadn't canceled the game yet. So we drove Tuesday night. So the Twin Tower thing happened, the 9/11 deal happened, and it wasn't a day and a half later. There was nobody, and I mean nobody on the road. And we got down there, and they finally did not cancel it until Friday. And I'll never forget the host from the Gainesville station trying to talk football with Lee Corso, and they were still going to play the game the next day. And I gained so much respect for Lee Corso that day because he said, this is a damn disgrace that we're playing this game while they're still pulling bodies out of that rubble. He said, there are things in life bigger than football. He said, this is a damn and I do not want to talk about the football game. And I was like, I was so like, hey, Lee Corso kind of gets it here. Pretty amazing. And BH0816 said something that's really interesting, which is yesterday may have been the most unified the country's been since September the 11th. I agree with that. Dolly Parton had this thing about her that everybody loved her. Everybody. Not even the idiots online that like to troll everybody about everything. There's nothing to troll about her. Isn't that amazing? You believe that, Cinco? 25 years since 9/11. And for a lot of people, that's their space shuttle, their Kennedy assassination. Like you were talking about that, Cinco, earlier in the show. The day Elvis died, that's very
Space
few
shuttle,
of those days. Very few of those days in a life. You live a long life. Very few of those days.
Yep, I remember it well. I was just out of residency. I was working for the great Mike McBride as a young dentist in Memphis. I was doing a root canal on a British lady named Allison, and we had what used to be called Muzak pumped into the, for those that don't know, it was just kind of like, I don't know, just like instrumental music that, you'd hear in elevators and whatever. And out of nowhere, they just came on and said, hey, a plane has hit one of the Twin Towers. And so I'm still doing my thing and going to, finish that up. And then we heard a second one has hit. And I was like, wait a second. I lived nearby. And this is, like you said, no internet. That we didn't have TVs in the office. So I ran home real quick. And it's still when you could have, over the air TV.
Yep.
And went home, grabbed a little TV and we just kind of watched it there. And it was, I did not know what the meaning of surreal was, but I felt the meaning of surreal that day.
It was like, because my kids were too young. They've asked me about it. It was like, I don't know, Sean. And then we learned that Patrick Lenore's brother was one of the people in the Twin Towers.
Yep.
There were a couple people from my hometown that passed away. Man, I just, I don't know. You could not take your eye off the TV. I was not around when Kennedy was assassinated, and it always fascinated me. And I cannot imagine what it felt like back then. I don't know. I go online and because I'm fascinated with the medium of radio. I hate that it's dying. It aggravates me, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's just part of time we're living in. Just like newspapers have sort of died and had to reinvent themselves, and our medium's doing the same thing. But anyway, there's a guy named David Von Peen who's collected all this Kennedy stuff. Like, I don't know where he gets it, but people that were rolling tape decks at the time or tapes. And I mean, it's just amazing. But to think about what it was like back then, but that 9/11 thing, whew, what a day. What?
Well, so my impression, it was just, when I look back, it was too big for me to comprehend.
Exactly.
And I couldn't watch it more. I mean, every time I'm not trying to be ghoulish or anything like, or, morbid or anything, but when I just say, watching those planes go into a building, it didn't make sense.
No.
It just didn't make sense.
And it was so simple. And it was so simple, but yet so elaborate. And, man, Ranger Don
some clown on here just said, for a little levity, he said, I will always remember the day Cinco snack cake the Dolly Parton memorial. So
back to
sorry about that, Dolly.
You didn't snack cake nothing. VFL 2019's he apologized.
They're getting on me.
That youngster said he learned from the error of his ways. I wanted him to I want to invite that youngster to come down. I want to give him a hug and tell him I love him. Because really, I do, man. I do. I didn't mean to snap like that.
That was a good promo. I enjoyed it.
I cut a promo. I can cut a promo. I'm a paisan, and I get a little salty language in there too. But let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
On the High Noon Hotline. Welcome in.
How you doing, Tony?
Doing great, W. Lynn. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Dolly passing sad, and it really didn't hit me full-fledged until they played a clip of her singing Rocky Top, and I started tearing up.
There you go.
And I thought, in memory of Dolly, the pride of the Southland, and we ought to have Dolly on the Jumbotron. We ought to be playing in her version of Rocky Top all season long. You know, her the way she sang.
Yeah, I've seen people say that. I'll be interested to see what Tennessee does.
Because, she was special. Outside of the original version, hers was my favorite.
Yep.
When her singing it, and so that's, and she saved Rebel Railroad, Tony. That's where that all started. Where Dollywood is now. She kept that space going. It went through Rebel Railroad, Silver Dollar City, and Gold Rush Junction, and then she's turned it into a mega, bigger than Disney World, basically.
That same train, W. Lynn, they have up there was Rebel Railroad.
That thing, the only thing that's the same is that train. That train track and train is been there the whole time.
W. Lynn, tell the living listener, because that came up during COVID. That was 5 or 6 years ago. What was Rebel Railroad, W. Lynn? Can you tell the living listener?
Well, it was, you kind of went into like a Western like setting with the train was there, but there wasn't that many buildings. And they gave all the people that came in, the little kids, a Confederate hat and a cap gun. And then as you were riding the train, I've been told they hired people in the theater majors at UT.
I want to think David Keith was on the Rebel Railroad. Maybe he was a young actor back then. You think a young W. Lynn shot at David Keith back in the day?
No, I was there when I was 6, 7 years old, and he was only a couple years older than me, so he wasn't it was guys in blue storming the train, and you shot at them, and it was a lot of fun. But
Bino, when that whole Rebel Railroad thing came up, Bino said that he kicked the guy in his shins. One of those actors kicked him right in his shins, Cinco, as hard as he could. He said, and then a buddy of his from Oak Ridge poked a guy in the eye. Like they would rough these people up, Cinco.
I think I might have hit a guy in the stomach or something. It was.
Absolutely love Rebel Railroad stories from back in the day.
And then the other thing that came up back then,
weren't they politically incorrect? Who are the people? Weren't you shooting like Indians and stuff like that?
Well, no, it
was Yankees. When they changed it to Gold Rush Junction, it was Indians.
That's great.
shooting Yankees wasn't politically incorrect in 1962 and 1963.
So the other thing that was really something was the thing that people were talking about at the time where they had a live bear, Sean, in this glass encampment, and you could buy it a soda with your, like, put the money in, and this thing would swig a soda for you. Is that true, W. Lynn, or is that fake?
No, that's true. And there was other places along the way to Gatlinburg. Just some random store on the side of the road might have a bear chained up just for you to see a bear. But yeah, that thing.
Well, after a while, would there be another guy that would shoot him up with insulin so he didn't freak out?
I mean, can you imagine PETA today, Cinco?
That's what's wrong with the world. We need more rebel railroads.
Yeah, we were having a picnic, my mom and dad and my first cousin from Maryland. And at this time, I was only about 12 or 13. And a bear came to the picnic area, and Dad did exactly what we're supposed to do. Just go to the car and leave the table and don't try to save food or any of that, And and it didn't get our food. It got some other tables. And I can't even remember what left or what happened. I just remember Dad said, we're evacuating. You don't want to mess with this thing. So
Here's your Vol just said that Derek Owings got that bear off soda. That soda drink's diet now, Cinco. I mean, there are some damn simpletons lurking in the YouTube chat.
Well, speaking of that, what were we eating and drinking the past couple years over there? I mean, were we just straight lining or
sugar? They were mainlining.
Yeah,
they were mainlining sugar. That's why everybody was fat. Cinco on the football team. You said it last year.
And I swear, the old coach must have been. You walk into the training session, they're all using like shake weights and Suzanne Summers, bun fit or whatever those bun master.
Hey, don't
things.
knock the bun master, the thigh master, dude. Don't knock the thigh master.
Thigh master and shake weights.
It was a great infomercial in my late teens, Shepard. We didn't have the internet back then.
Who was the guy that was always dancing and I can't think that he was weight loss, Mr. Weight Loss.
That was Body by Jake or
this guy was goofy looking. I can't think of
the Fitness Pros on ESPN in the morning. Much better than Sports Center. Much better.
I remember them. I remember G-Log or something was their leader. Yeah, the Fitness Pros.
All right. Well, Richard Simmons. Are you thinking of Richard Simmons?
Yes, Richard Simmons, that goofy looking guy that was always.
W. Lynn, you're the man. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Great show, guys.
Yeah. Jimmy England, the former Vol.
Richard Simmons was that guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jimmy England, Jimmy England, the former Vol, was like Suzanne Summers. Was Suzanne Summers second?
These guys got my bad. All these guys had. I didn't see it. All these guys had.
Richard don't worry about it. No. We're not doing the show for these clowns. We're doing a show.
Oh, but they hit. I swear
they're losers. They're losers. They didn't know. They didn't know. They got lucky. Cinco,
or
Brian,
Tybo,
final thoughts?
Tybo.
Who are the three teams that are going to bomb this year in the SEC, Cinco? Who you got? Who you pulling the plug on?
Man, I don't know, except for the fact that I just don't like Drinkwitz. I don't like Shane Beamer. I should, but I just don't like him. Let's see. I don't know about bombing. I think LSU could be a train wreck. It has a possibility. I know they got
there's a
50
real
million.
chance they
got a
bomb.
lot of talent, but that thing could go Queen Kimmy off the rails a little bit. What else? So I think Vandy comes back to the pack a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know. Who do you think?
I'm gonna give them tomorrow.
Man, I just don't want it. I don't want it to be the Vols, man. Come on.
I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm doing it tomorrow. But Brian, do you have three in mind, or do you got to think about it?
Well, I do have some in mind, but I could save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
I think Florida may have a tough road.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that coach.
I think there's some of this. Look, this year, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go boom. And there's some people that are going to go up that we're not expecting to go up. But there's going to be some real volatility and fluctuation in the league this year. But appreciate
It'll be interesting to see what Comrade Golish has got going on, because I like him. I liked when he was here.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten more shine than he's really earned.
I agree with that. And I don't think Heupel's a big fan of that either. I think Heupel, if they get a chance, will beat him like he's mad at him. Heupel's highly competitive.
I think Arkansas may be going down a long, dark road here. No one I talk to in Memphis thinks that coach is worth a flip.
Hewitt Pruitt on the way out here asks if W. Lynn recommends a sham wow. W. Lynn, call in tomorrow. I want to know if you recommend a sham wow. Bronny Boy, thank you. Sink, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
He's SCA in Sinclair, DDS, beautiful Maryville. We love you. We appreciate you. VFL 2019, I want you to know, man, I like you. You can take a punch. You can take a punch, kid. I like you. For some reason, I cut like a total promo in your generation, which is just a ridiculous thing to do, but I don't know. That's me. That's me speaking for me. Check out our blog today at tclub.team. Some work went into it. I want to thank Watson Brown, who appeared on the High Noon hotline. I want to thank my friends at High Noon. Remember, there's 14 flavors of High Noon. Remember, it's only 100 calories. Remember, with football season coming, no sugar added, gluten-free. Black cherry and pineapple are next level. 14 flavors. I had easily 14 bad takes today. No doubt about it. Also, check out High Noon's Tequila Seltzer, 6 refreshing flavors, including blood orange. And then the vodka iced tea, the High Noon vodka iced tea, 6 refreshing flavors. Peach and lemon, green tea, half and half. Real fruit juice, live like the sun's always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company, 21 and over. To enjoy responsibly. We love you. We appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. And GBO, on Friday, I'll be down at Calhoun's, remember, with Braylon Staley and Bean. No, Braylon Staley won't be with us, but he's going to be there later in the day. But I'll be down there with Bean now. Love you. Appreciate you. In case you want to relive any of that, say, huh? Say, what? Yeah, they don't have lemongrass flavor. Though that sounds appealing to somebody, I'm sure. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show.